everybody. Welcome, welcome to Girlfriend Gatherings. How are we doing today? How are you guys? If you were joining me on, what did I just do? Faithful Friends, sorry. If you just joined me on Faithful Friends, then we were hanging out. We had a lot of fun inside jokes. If you are interested in going back and watching that, I would suggest doing so because it was a lot of fun. And we did, we prayed. We had some discussion about how to lean on our faith at this time. And I don't know. I don't even remember everything that I said because sometimes I feel like that particular show, it's just like my mouth, like something just takes the driver wheel. So I'm not even exactly sure what our entire conversation was, but some really funny things came out of it in the end. So we're going to have, I was encouraging people to take a time out to have a special little beverage of the day, like coffee, tea, or something to sip, and making that kind of like a little sacred time to do, specifically to meditate on Psalm 91. So I would go back and watch it if you missed it, if you weren't able to join us. We make all of the live events become replays on my channel so that you can just watch at your leisure. And the chat room is like you can see the chat room, so you can see the comments and things that people are saying. So hi, Miss Lisa Stander and Miss Cami. I'm happy to see your little faces. Lisa, I hope you're doing well. It's good to see you too. Hi, Miss Cami. Hi, Miss Mallory down under, and Miss Karen back again. Hi, Miss Kelly Jerky. And let's see. Kelly says, happy quarantine, everybody. Hi, Miss Mandy again. So Debbie says, thank you so much for doing this. I've been self-quarantined for the last week. Then on Wednesday, we had a 5.7 earthquake. Hello. Hi, Miss Patty Radish. Hi, Cozy. Hi, everybody. Hi, Deborah. Hi, Sharon. Hi, Patty. Hi, Andrea. Hi, Emmy. Hi, Miss Nicolette. Hello, all my friends. Hi, Mathani. Hi, Claire. Karen. Y'all know who you are. happy quarantine to everybody. Which is, I don't know. I guess, I've mentioned this several times, but as introverts, I think that this is something we can weather well. But I know it comes with such a high price, and I think that's the worst part. In my attempt to try to make this better for us and be positive and frame things positively and try to make light of the situation in an effort to kind of keep us calm and just keep us distracted, I just please know in my heart of hearts that I have very deep concern for those of us who are going to be very, very financially impacted by all of this, and in an effort to keep people alive. That's really the focus, and that's more important than anything, because you can replace anything you lose, right? And I think for those faith girls, one person in the Bible that we can look to is Job as a reminder. And and I personally can attest to that. I have lost everything in my life, but other than my life, and have gotten back, as my pastor used to say, double for my trouble. So please know that, just remind yourself of that. And please know that my joking around and stuff is absolutely, I am very sensitive to the fact that we are all being impacted. I love you guys dearly. This is Mark and I's way of showing that to you, how much we care about you, that we're trying to be a little light in whatever you are going through, because all of us are going through different phases of this issue. In California and Washington and New York, these are states that are highly impacted, both because of population, because we are the states that have had the highest amount of death and infection. So we here in California and Washington, I don't think Washington has quite joined yet, but here in California we are under the shelter in place statute. So now we are officially, you guys need to stay home unless you must be out, and being out is like shopping for food or medicine and having an essential job. So that's where we're at. So it is hard. Sometimes you are the one who's keeping your family calm, as Miss Patty points out. You are the light in your household. Maybe you are the one who is the calm, rational one, or just you need to frame things positively for your grandchildren and your children who might be a bit confused and scared of the situation. So this is your way. I'm filling your cups, hopefully filling up your little cups, and just helping you to have a little break from reality for a moment, and doing something fun. So to that point, I have posted I consider it an epic list in the both of the Facebook groups. So if you're in the First Love Club or in the Crafty Club, there is a post in there that I gave you a very long list of things you can do during a live event. So while I'm talking, you guys are home and doing your thing. And so I just wanted to make sure that you had ideas of how you can use this time effectively to further distract yourself, feel productive. Some of us are just not in a place right now where we are even feeling productive. We're feeling a bit lost, and we have too much time on our hands for a change. So here's just some ways that you can be getting crafty, and here's a place to start. So I am going to take that list and also email it out. I'm going to be doing my very first newsletter. I will be sending out more newsletters between now and the end of the month. Usually you just get one, but I'm going to be using that as my main way of communicating with my community. So things that I find, funny videos, just things to lighten up your life at this time. I will be sharing that, including, I'm just going to condense everything from like the faith community, the crafting community at large, and keeping you in the loop, letting you know that there are events scheduled on our calendar that you can access by going to theresetgirl.com, and we'll be having some fun activities. I have quite a few lives scheduled, sometimes 2 lives in one day. This is my second live today, and we'll be having a movie matinee next week, or this week. Yeah, this week, because today is Saturday. Sorry. So, well, technically it is Saturday, so that would be next week. So next week we're having our first movie matinee, and the week after that we'll be having a movie night. So those movies are posted on our calendar, so you can see what we'll be watching and how to get your hands on renting one of them, renting both of them, anything like that. Oh, Lisa says that the National Guard showed up today. What state are you in, Lisa? I forget. And that can be a good thing. At one point in my life, I lived across the street from the National Guard Armory, and I felt super safe until the day that guy stole the tank. Do you guys remember that story back in the 90s? That guy stole a tank from the National Guard Armory, rolled it out onto the street, started crushing cars, got it onto the freeway, mowing over cars. That happened. I lived right across the street from that, and I was standing out on the street talking to my neighbor when we watched the tank roll out through the fence and come towards us. And I have to admit, I was like staring at it because I couldn't believe what I was seeing. And at the last minute, he kind of spun the tank and then started mowing the cars going all the way up the street and around the corner. And then everything else you had to watch on the news, which was an incredible thing to watch because no one had ever successfully done that. But needless to say, I hope that you feel safer knowing that the National Guard is there, because that's what they're there for. They're there to make sure that we're safe. So yay. Okay. Hello. Love seeing you twice on a Saturday. Thank you, Barbara. Thank you, Lisa. That's what I thought. Okay. So yes, there are a lot of military there, so that's good. I actually miss all of that military presence. Patty says, I remember that. Yes, Lisa, Monterey Bay. I used to live down in Salinas, so we were practically neighbors. Justine says, you saw the National Guard out and about. I'm in Napa in the hills, so it's pretty calm. It's very calm here where I am in Central California. This neighborhood is always quiet though, and it feels like there's nothing happening. Everyone's just pretty still for the most part. So it is weird. Plus I'm leading my regular life too, so it just feels like, nothing's happening until you turn on on the TV. So what I am doing right now is right before, in between the two shows, I stuffed my face full of lunch, and then I started I haven't kind of been sitting back here and working for a little bit because I've just wasn't feeling good for a while, so I was really laying down a lot. So I happened to kind of sit down and realize I have a lot of different papers laying around, and I have things from like the Harmony Retreat and the playbook, and everything's kind of mushed together. So that's what I actually was going to do, a bit of organizing. I highly recommend it. It's a great time to be productive and take some time to freshen up your craft space, organize stickers, organize your scrapbook paper, like go through it, declutter scrapbook paper. It could be something that you could donate to a friend, like leave it on their doorstep, not necessarily saying hi, hug, none of that. Elbow bump, as Lisa reminds us, bump elbows. But it'd be a good time to drop off some craft supplies to someone you know who's got kids and isn't used to having their kids at home. Or you might have kids at home now that you're not used to. So like this would be a great time to go through your stuff and like, hey kids, let me put together a playbook for you. You know what I'm saying? So thank you, Lady Prepper. Arlen says, so lovely to have a time to be with our crafty friends, even if we don't craft each session. True. You can choose to do other activities. You don't have to craft. Thank you so much. We all appreciate you giving from your heart to our community. It's my honor to do it. I'm happy to do it. I'm happy because I want to make sure that you guys have a little break in the in the news watching. And it did take me a little while to get kind of like on a personal level, it did take me a little while to get kind of prepared. We were, cramming in shopping trips. I was like placing orders. I was trying to get my little act together. As I've mentioned, we were not prepared for something like this, to be like sequestered. So it did take me a while to kind of mentally get like, okay, now I feel prepared. And now I feel fine. Now I'm good. And now I can be like, okay, everybody, let's get some happiness going in our community. Because I absolutely I personally feel weird when a whole week goes by that I don't talk to you guys. When I was doing the Harmony Retreat, that created that consistency, and then my health took a nosedive. So then I felt really disconnected. So this is like really good. It's good for all of us to like just have connection, be in the chat room. So here's what's going on in the reset world right now that you can avail yourself of. We have the My Happy Place is a new collection that Miss Kelly Bangs released. So it's the first time she released a collection that's kind of like all hers, and that's in our store. So My Happy Place, and then there's a faith version called My Faith Place. And it's a really cute collection. It's very focused on your craft space, crafting, like, because it's our happy place. For a lot of us, it's our happy place. So those two are available. The bundle, all of the pieces have been seriously discounted, like a 60% discount, because we understand the financial pressing needs everybody has. So if it's, something you just, I would love to have that, but we wanted to make sure that we could price it as reasonably as possible to give you guys, if you wanted to add that to your collection. The other thing we have available is the Pocket Fever workshop. That is on the resetgirl.com. You can purchase it as a bundle with our new spring playbook and get a discount that way, or you can purchase the Pocket Fever workshop on its own. That's another set of workshop tutorial videos, and then utilizing like how to use all these pocket pages I encouraged you to get last summer, encouraged you to get for your playbook. So there'll be lots of fun ideas of how to fill your pocket pages that, in that workshop. Words are hard. Our spring playbook also is available, and the Harmony, Mark, is the Harmony handbook a separate video too, workshop?
I think so.
He thinks so. Okay, you guys tell me. I'm pretty sure. Maybe I have it. Maybe we didn't do it. I'm sorry. My memory's terrible right now. But the Harmony handbook, I intended to be a standalone workshop of you being able to just like make the handbook if you wanted. Maybe it's not in there. Maybe it is. Yes, Lisa, thank you for reminding me. There are cut files included in the My Happy Place collection. So if you have a sticker machine, you can run the sticker files, or you can cut them by hand. So they're still files that you can print and cut if you wanted to. So we got lots of like fun things that you can use. You can go download the scripture writing prompts that are free, going back for the last few months, and grab those and just write out scripture, spend time with the Lord. What else? Anything else? And then we're going to start doing little things. We have some plans to do, to release some things that kind of got, I don't know that they were ever released. Mark found some things that were like in our vault. So there's some stuff that we were working on, but I definitely feel like I have a lot of stuff going on over here. So I thought I would do some, hi Lisa. Everybody is, Lisa says she's busting a move in her playbook today. Awesome. So, okay. Bye, Sloan. Have a good walk. Kate, the epic list of things is a post in our, the Facebook group. So that's where it lives. If you go into the Facebook group, you have to be a member of the Facebook group to see it. It's the Reset Girls Crafty Club, or the First Love Club. So that's where that epic list of things to do during a live is. We are going to send it out to everybody on our newsletter list as well, including some other things I found to share with you guys. So be sure to make sure that you are on our newsletter list. So it's theresetgirl.com, and then there is a button for joining the TRG Insider newsletter. So yay. Kim says that she's doing a page in her Harmony Handbook. Awesome. Lynn's working on the March's Photo Challenge. Awesome, awesome. So I have a lot of stuff to do for the launch of our health membership. So I got a lot of different things going on, and I put all the lives on the calendar. So now it's kind of changed my schedule and like the attention. I feel like when I do have a day where I do a live, I feel like it makes my focus change. Like I have a hard time doing more than one thing in a day. I don't know what happened to me. Not that I've ever been a good multitasker, but I used to at least be a bit better at it. Okay, so I have this awesome, this is my planner currently, and I had the last month I have in it is March. I printed out some pages as I thought I would need them, and I have things I printed off here to be in my Harmony Handbook, and I made myself a list. Did you guys make yourself a master list yet? Like a list of things you know that you have to do? I can't see. This is why I need to be organized, is I feel like I don't even know where I'm putting things. Okay, so here is my master list. So now I have my master list in my March spread, and this is the last 2 weeks of March, or the last, it's actually like 10 days. We have 10 days left in March. So it's gonna either it's gonna go by really fast, or it's gonna feel like it's taking forever. So I have this like little pile of stuff that I made myself, like stickers. I made myself things that I could cut out and put in my Harmony Handbook or my playbook. So I've like sort of kind of been making stuff for to decorate with, which I actually was doing that previous to the Harmony retreat, because I was going to share all that with you guys so that you could see what I was up to. So here's all of my printouts from the Harmony retreat, like directions to myself, because there's so much stuff that you're balancing and information that you're planning, and it takes a lot of focus to make sure that you're like connecting all the dots, making sure all the content's, going in the right place, that it's been built. Okay, so I'm going to put all of this with my Harmony stuff. Okay, so here's all my Harmony goodies. And then I have this fabulous, so I bought myself more of these. I've recommended these guys to you. These are these, what do you call these? A portable little file folder-y thing. They're plastic. They're actually larger than letter size. They're wider or taller, depending on how you're holding it. And they're fabulous. I love them so much. It looks blue in the video, but it actually is like, this one's minty. It's like a mint green, but it looks light blue in the camera. Okay, so you definitely want to do a master list right now. I would say that is a good homework assignment, is doing a master list, because then it can really help you just kind of get like your head around what makes the most sense for you to work on stuff, so that you're working on the right things. That always helps me, because I feel like sometimes I have just a lot of stuff that I could work on. So this all looks like pretty much everything in here feels like it's the handbook. So this, what I put in here was full-size Harmony printables. So I'm going to go ahead and archive. I'm going to archive this. This is all like my own little direction to myself, the key, everything. So this whole little file folder is going to become the Harmony folder. Except I don't really want, these are actual stickers I want to use. So this, I don't know, how do you make decisions sometimes? Like, well, some of this is like not something I want to store, it's something I want to use. So I'm going to put this back here. So I have this article that I have wanted to read for a long time. It's by author Joan Didion. It's called On Keeping a Notebook. It's like an essay. Well, I found it online. I've bookmarked it. I've meant to read it a million times. I never have. So I printed it out, and now I'm putting it into my master folder so that I have everything like I could possibly be working on, looking at. So that's filed. Here's the playbook stuff. So I'm thinking I have this cute little pocket for all the little playbook pieces. So I'm thinking, what should I do with this stuff? This is previous. This is older playbook goodies, and this is the current playbook. And I'm going to put this folder in here. Isn't this cool? So each of these can become one of your projects. You could have one for like your handbook. You could have one for your playbook. And that way all of your things, I don't know if I could fit this one here. It might not fit. It's not going to fit. It's okay. I will just snap that closed. This goes with it. This goes with it. And that means these are all something I could put in my bin. Okay, so, oh, I left something out. This is the Harmony Retreat Workshop. These are prompts for the healthy. These are the small little prompts. What was the week we did the body? The body was week 3. That's where these go. Okay. Boop. And then these are fun little things that I printed out for my handbook. What's a good place to put them? I'll put them in here. Okay. I think there's like certain things you can do to really make yourself feel really in control of your little life, you know, all the little aspects of your life. So I'm going to, I had some great volunteers yesterday. Well, they didn't volunteer. I'm volunteering them. They mentioned they have experience in like being a disaster coordinator, you know, like a community coordinator for like a disaster drill. being a prepper, someone who knows how to prepare for emergencies. So I was thinking of gathering up some tips and advice on how to best build an emergency binder, just so that you could have a little project to work on that would actually pay off huge if you end up needing it. And hopefully you won't need it. That would be my greatest prayer for you, is that you'll never need it. There'll never be an emergency so great you are grabbing that binder as you race out of your house. But I just wanted to make sure that you guys have some knowledge of how to do that. And I thought that'd be a really good thing for the community, is like, hey, that feels a bit crafty, so we can go ahead and do that together as a community. So I'm gonna, hi Antonella, ciao from the US. I hope that you're doing well. I hope you're okay and safe. Okay, I'm just looking through the comments really quick, because clearly I was behind, and now there is some stuff that I was behind on. Okay. Hi, Miss Claudine. Hi, Becky. Okay. I gotta get more comfy. Okay, so that's what I will be arranging in the background behind the scenes, and I'm hoping that the 27th or the 31st, I believe those are both dates. Let me refer to my calendar. Let me see here. I can double check that myself. The 27th is a girlfriend gathering, and the 31st. So both of those would be an opportunity to do the emergency binder. So I'm gonna see how quickly I can get everything together, and then get that out in an email. So please make sure you're signed up for the email that I'm sending out. I'm going to be communicating all to you guys through newsletters only. It's the benefit of being on our newsletter list, is that you will get my resources, get my freebies. All I'm asking in return is that you be on my subscriber list. It's a win-win. Do you guys have like a little fun little pouch that you keep like little essentials in? I noticed that this pouch has become that for me, and I wanted to just share it as a tip. I don't know, I think we all kind of do some version of this, but I have this fun pouch that I really love. This is from I can't think of their name, of course. Okay, one second, because I'll unbox something on camera. Okay, I can't unbox it. Nope, nope, nope. Aha. Okay, we're gonna do a fun little unboxing, because I bought this Miloo. That's what it is, Miloo, M-I-L-L-O-O. So they make these delicious pouches. They are just designed so well, and they like open up and hold a lot of stuff. They are lined with fabric, really well made. I love this one. In the camera you cannot tell, but it is a beautiful, gorgeous Kelly green. Well, I guess you can see it better, and I can see it really well in my little playback screen, but on camera it's going to look dark teal, and it's not. So this is the one I bought probably back like in October or November. I am super behind on opening packages. I actually have a box I was like trying to think of things I could do on the live. So I was like, maybe I can do an unboxing. I have my Hobonichi delivery that I ordered back in September that I still haven't opened. I know. So let's just open the package, shall we? This cute little tree is made of the leather that makes up the pouch. That's cute. And it's got a little fabric strip sealing it shut. Okay. So I have this beautiful, I love this color of pink, like the soft, blushy, kind of, I call it ballerina pink, which looks pretty closely accurate to the one on the camera that's picking up. So
The color is off on your monitor.
yeah, it's really off because so many things that are actually like light green or green, they end up looking completely the opposite, like blue or teal. It's weird.
No, they look good.
Okay. To me, what I'm seeing looks no bueno. Anyway, so what I was saying is the pouches end up,
I was just taking a look. Color's right.
okay, wait,
Yes, baby.
how are they right?
The color that's showing up is good.
Okay, sorry about that. Okay, I'm back. Okay, so the whole point of this story was I wanted to show you what was in my little pouch. I've noticed that when you spend all your time indoors and you're not going around, traveling around, I feel like your purse, which is often larger than we sometimes carry our essentials in, might be a bit superfluous, might not be something you necessarily want to reach for. So I thought it would be fun to show you what's in my pouch and what you could put in your little pouch. This little pouch is very small and I can carry it I put it on a little stool that's next to our couch bed in the front part, and then it comes with me back here, and then I take it with me to go when I go visit my mom in her house, which is like, I don't know, like 14 feet away. 15, no, it's probably long, it's probably further than that. It's probably 20 feet away is my mom's the back door. So I take it with me, and it just has like essential things that I would need that I'm too lazy to get up and go search for or want to go back into the house to get, plus some little things that I forgot I had. So this is a good time to kind of like, first of all, I'm going to switch pouches, and then secondly, I'm going to make sure this is the right pouch for the job. I mean, the right stuff for the job that I have in here. So I think pouch building, look how cute the lining is of that. Super cute. I think that having a great little pouch is one of those awesome, cool things that I love, like packing stuff in and having pouches that have specific purpose, like a pouch that just has all of my like little medicines, like almost like a little first aid kit pouch. And I can grab that. So I have a pouch like this that has this cute little, my cute little traveler on it. We all have our baggage, it says. And this is a pouch that I keep a lot of like little pill containers in, whether it's current medicine that I'm taking, like prescription, or like in this case, I have a little smaller daily pill organizer that has, I put my little stickers on it and labeled them. This has Tylenol for upset tummies. It has Excedrin migraine, which I get migraines a lot, so I end up carrying a lot of migraine medicine with me. Here's more prescription, more prescription. Those are usually back pain related. Here's Lactaid, which I was taking a lot before. Pepto-Bismol. Here's a Tide pen. Earplugs. Another Tide pen. That one's a Tide Mini. And then little packets, little packety things like wipes, a tea bag, more tummy stuff. Here's some cortisone cream. Here's another little tiny container of Beano and some tiny little tweezers. And then emergency lip gloss because you never know. So that's one of my pouches that I like to keep things that, like, should I go on a trip? This is the little pouch that's going to go into my carry-on and make sure that I have like the most basic little needs that I tend to have from a medicinal point of view. So I like all of my pouches generally to have a purpose, a single focused purpose, but I generally have some kind of catch-all pouch that if I didn't want to be carrying around my heavy purse, I would just grab this one pouch out of it. So I'd put it in my bag on the go and then take it out. Do I put my wallet in it? My wallet is generally a separate little entity, but this is kind of the stuff that I would want just to have access to. So I have hand sanitizer in here, little breath mints, gum. I have page flags. Don't ask me why. And then I've been switching over all my lip balms, everything to Burt's Bees, because I watched a YouTube video that was talking about, and I think it was from, I can't remember if it was from it was posted by a dermatologist, and they were explaining the ingredients in lip balm and what actually you want to avoid and which ones you want to look for. And the Burt's Bees was on the top of their list of like actually being not only protective but then moisturizing. There's like different factors in a lip balm, and some of the lip balms I normally carry with me were on the don't buy list. Like, this is like not good, the ingredients aren't good. So I was like, oh my gosh, most of us love lip balm. So I was really surprised. So Burt's Bees is now one of my go-tos. So I went ahead and got new lip balms. I have 2 glue sticks just in case. I have 1 pen, a Tide pen. I have a peach iced tea packet, like one of those Crystal Light packets. I have an adapter for my phone because if you get an Apple phone, like a 10 and up, the little plugs don't work the way they used to if you want to listen to your earplugs, so you have to have a jack. That's kind of annoying to me that you have to buy a whole new piece of equipment to use them, because I absolutely hate their headphones. They are so painful to put in my ears. So this is one of those little pieces that's like a catch-all. I bought several of them. I have several little binder clips. I have a fabric paper clip, which really serves the purpose in just clipping something together and being like, hey, this is an important thing that's in your notebook or in your checkbook, or just something that you want to pay attention to. So I made sure to grab one that's like a page flaggy type. I have a rubber band and barrette, which I find to be super important to have on hand. And then this change doesn't have any purpose. Neither does that candy, neither does that card. And then in my, I also have a roller, like a little spray. This is from Bath & Body. It's the Into the Night. Oh my gosh, this stuff is so heavenly. I have all the products in the line because of how fantastic. So I carry that because the girl wants to smell good. And then I have this teeny tiny, I love this one so much. I got this from like TJ Maxx several years ago, and it's one of those little tiny pill containers, one of those little organizers, and I have all of mine like labeled on the outside of the container of what's inside of it, and then the other side. So there's 8 little compartments, and it fits in this little tiny pink and red striped bag, and this is an Isaac Mizrahi, and then that goes in here too, because I always have little medicines on me. So that's what's in my like catch-all, everything important pouch that goes with me everywhere. Mostly the most important thing in here is probably my lip balm, because I feel like I use that consistently. I would also put my phone in here, so when I go into the house I have my phone with me. I spend my time going back and forth between 2 households a lot, so I find that I'm grabbing this a lot because I don't want to go. And yes, B asked me, do I like my wireless Beats over the earbud? So these are the wireless Beats, and they curve around your ear, and then they kind of just sit right here in the front. I love these. They're so comfy. They are a splurge item for sure, but somehow in the last, I don't know, 2 years, my precious headphones that I had, the Bose noise canceling headphones. I got them as a birthday present. They have gone missing. So I did not realize how much I like relied on them for travel, for everything, for being in the, just like when we travel in the RV, in the plane. So they're really helpful for drowning out the noise around you. Like you can be in a room with your kids and they could be playing video games, and you can have those on and not be as disturbed like listening to the sound of the game they're playing or anything. So you can, it's like, I felt like they're a really good thing to suggest because you can be in the room with your noisy family. As an introvert, that's something I'm very sensitive to, is the noise. And if you are too, that's something I suggest. I don't think these are noise canceling, but I love these, especially for exercising with. So those don't require needing like a jack because they're wireless, but just in case I need to like grab headphones, then I have the other little jack in here. So now I switched over. I see, look, this show gave me a reason to finally get out my new bag that I have just had in my bin back there, and now I actually have it here ready to go. And they gave me this cute little tree made of leather. So the name of the company is Milloo, Milloo, and they I believe are on Etsy. And I'm going to tip the bag over because they have different types of pouches. This is a very specific pouch. It has this little I don't know I can't even remember what they call this, but the design of it is very specific because they have different types of pouches. And this one has this really cool fold right here. I asked them if they could do it in mustard yellow because at one time they offered that, but unfortunately they do not have yellow anymore. So yes, Kelly, they probably would. Don't you hate when neighbors put on music really loudly, or their TV, or they're just, I don't know, just loud in general? I think sometimes that people forget, especially during the day, like when they're used to not, I'm making an assumption here. Maybe your neighbors are noisy in general, and either you're not home during this time and they're used to being noisy, or suddenly you guys are home together for the first time and they're just like, oh, it's a party, turn the music on. And just not as conscientious of how loud things are. Sometimes people don't realize how loud things are. But as someone who's lived most of my adult life in apartments, I would say that's something I've gotten like just really ingrained in my head, is about how you have to be very conscientious and considerate of your neighbors, and that they may not want to listen to your television be so noisy. Okay, so I'm cutting all this off, superfluous stuff. I didn't get this, this is another little keychain that came, I can't remember the name of the Etsy store this little keychain came from, but I bought a bunch of different products from her. Jill Makes, that's what it is, Jill Makes, and I've had this little keychain for many years now. It has Corey and Mark on it. So I'm going to transfer this over to this bag. I don't know what I would do with this little scrap, but I feel like something needs to be done with it. Like, I don't know, making it into a tag or something. There's a cute little family walking by. They're all walking their dogs. Okay. Sandy says, just moved to an apartment. Really have realized how noisy neighbors and my teen children are. It is so true. You hear everything. In fact, I got in the habit of, when I would go to look at an apartment to rent, I would try to go during a time where I knew people were home, because it doesn't help you to be in the apartment looking at it during the day when people are at work. You need to be in it when people are actually home, and you can that's when you can tell how thin are these walls, because if you lock yourself into a lease and you have thin walls, you're you're hosed if you are sensitive to that. And I am one of those people who's sensitive to that. Sensitive to a lot of noise. So there's a little tip for you should you need to, look at apartments one day. Make sure you look at it during a time, if possible, when people are actually home, or on the weekend is a good time. Apartment leasing offices are open on weekends. So go during a weekend, and then you can really hear what's going on. It does. Oh, I'm sorry, Marge. Doesn't that stink when you when all those little things, and it just kind of takes away it's part of your joy, because you're like, I can't even have the windows open because the fire pit's right there. When the wind blows, it blows right into my house. So, yeah, it's, Serenity said, it's hard when you have bad neighbors because you can't pick your neighbors. That's true. Can I just tell you guys a story? Okay, story time. Mark, can I tell the story of
I don't even know what
our
you're talking
former neighbors?
about. Oh. I suppose so.
Okay, all right. It's story time. I can tell you guys a story now because they're not the neighbors anymore. And it's not going to come back on my mom in any way. Okay, so here on my mom's property, where we stay with her for chunks of time. So in a way, it does feel like it feels like our house too, because we have spent so much time here. We've spent, she's lived here this is like her third year living here. And the first year she was here, we were here for like 7 months. And then another time we were here for 5 months. And this time we'll be here over 7 months, I'm sure. This property, her house looks out that way. So all she can see is that street over here. But this side of her property where we're parked, I look out over at a different street, and I have a neighbor over here. So it's like she's facing here, and that's all she ever sees or knows about. But it's like we have our own neighbor situation. And the neighbor that lived here before, so there was one person who rented the house there, and then she had a assortment of people that moved in and out of the house. And a nice way of saying it would be that these were not necessarily neighbors you would choose. They were very probably made very bad life choices in general, and they all kind of congealed together to make further bad life decisions, including selling some kind of substance, because the cops would often make drive-bys. This is a very small town, and they were very aware of what this house was and who was in the house, and they had visited the house many times. So they were aware. And I had conversations with the very friendly police officers here, especially when we had to leave. And I would say, I'd really appreciate it if you could just kind of cruise by a little more often, because, my mom is a single lady. And it is the kind of town where you can ask that, because it is very small, and they do have very good police here. So there's that. But yes, so I've never ever had neighbors like this, or lived anywhere where there was that kind of activity. So I have this big window that looks out over the street and can see all of the customers going by and making their purchases. And it would create a huge noisy situation, because they also had a lot of arguing and fighting and not just between the people who live there, but then the people who visited there, and just having lots of noisy confrontations, very noisy confrontations. Over the time of us staying here, the cops have probably been over to my neighbors maybe 10 times. There were instances of physical altercations. There was a whole situation with they had different people come stay in their driveway in their cars. There was an incident where one of those couples got in a huge fight, and the lady was trying to retrieve her stuff from the back of the truck, and the male driver took off, and she ended up tucking and rolling and injuring herself in the process. And then the cops and the ambulance came, and yeah, and some of these fights happened at 3 a.m, and when you were sleeping here quietly, and their window is literally like, I don't know, 10 feet away. And you could hear everything they're saying, everything they're arguing about. It was just mind blowing. Because I've never dealt with that, and I've not ever dealt with that. So finally, one of the cops, during one of these situations that I was talking to them, my mom and I made a couple trips over to the police station to inquire about, can something be done? They mentioned, hey, they're moving out. They told us that they're moving out. Like, those cops were on a first name basis with the residents of that house. Like, they just knew them. So they finally let us know. So then it was just a countdown of, when is this going to happen? When can we get rid of them? And that blessed day finally came. Unfortunately, we were not here to see it, to see the final move out of the household residents. But we eventually got to, my mom sent us the picture of the empty house, and it took a while for somebody bought it, and they flipped it, they fixed it all up, and then it finally got purchased and moved into maybe a month ago. So Marge says, I think those people moved in across the street from us, Corey. I'm so sorry, Marge. we drove them out of here. So anyway, so yes, it felt like my mom kept calling me Mrs. Kravitz. Do you guys remember that neighbor on Bewitched that was always, you'd always see her, like, she'd be peeking through her window at what was going on at Samantha's house, and she'd be always knocking on the back door trying to, like, come in and, like, find out what was going on. That's what my mom started calling me. And so I just made a joke of it. I'd come in during the day and be like, Mom, I have the Mrs. Kravitz report ready for you. Tell her, because she never saw any of this. Her view of that street is much nicer, quieter, peaceful. The neighbors that live on that street are very nice. They're just all, take care of their little houses. They're all retired and quiet. We just had a completely different experience going on over here. So yes, through the whole time that you guys, when we stay with my mom's, that was what we were dealing with. And it was just super unpleasant. So I totally get having bad neighbors. Those were probably the worst bad neighbors I've ever had in my whole life of being a renter, which has pretty much been the majority of my adult life. I've been a renter. I owned a home for a very tiny amount of time. So, yes. So I'm sorry for all of us that have had these situations. On one hand, you're just like, you feel compassion for seeing very broken people, and not just broken because of the substances that they're using, but for, whatever the reasons that make them use those substances, the reasons that make them, choose to live that way. As, also, if you were looking at it from a spiritual perspective, it's a form of oppression. And it's sad, and it's sad to see it. It's sad to see the destruction around it, and how many broken souls were coming in and out of that home. So oh my gosh. Yes, Cozy says, how funny, you have totally different experiences. Yes, it's like my mom lives in Mr. Rogers' neighborhood over here. And yeah, and I definitely do not over here at all. But I do now, because now the new neighbors in there are family people. I mean, the worst part was there were little children living over there. The main renter allowed a family to move in with her, and they had little kids. So that really was horrible to know that there were little kids there, and then there was people walking in and out of the house very quickly. And ever since they've been gone, I see nobody. No one goes over there to go shopping or anything. So you just know that somebody in that home was like their business. So yeah, I am too, Cozy. I'm glad that me and Mark are the ones that had to deal with that and not my mom. So I'm glad that that didn't hurt her, ruin her peace or her, enjoyment of her house. It's, so for that, yes, I agree. What is going on over here, Mark? Oh, okay. I see what's going on. I see what's happening. Bonnie says, I've lived in my home for 25 years and the neighborhood definitely goes through cycles, good and bad. Yes. And Gail says, we have plenty of cows. Sometimes they make way too much noise. I have gotten the pleasure of getting to have cows as neighbors as well. A couple years we've gotten to stay for a few weeks, I think at the most, like 2 to 3 weeks was one of our trips there. But in Texas, when we go to do the glamping events, we stay at an RV park. It's like being on someone's property is what it is. But they have cows, and so when you wake up, you're in this big field, and there's your neighbors. Moo. I found them to be delightful, but then again, I wasn't living with them every day, day in, day out, and I'm sure after time that they probably don't make good neighbors. They bring flies. But I love watching how cows kind of have a cycle. They follow a very set pattern of how they move around the property, like their eating and resting pattern. Like they start out here for their morning, and then they have a nap, then they're over here munching, and then they start moving like clockwork around the property every single day. Oh, yay, Emmy. I'm so glad to hear that you were set free from that life and that you have a better and more awesome future ahead of you, girl. That's wonderful. And you shouldn't ever, ever, ever be ashamed of that testimony, because that's the kind of stuff when you share it with people who are in a more broken situation and feel like there's no way out. That's your opportunity to be like, yes, there is. We should always remember that. There's nothing in our past that we should ever be ashamed of, because what we consider to be shameful could be somebody else's. It could set them free. It could be their call to be free, to not be shackled to that sin, to that life, and they could be set free because you finally are being utilized as a light, and to tell them, like, and think that's what's so awesome about how many people get saved when they're in prison, because it's finally like God has them right where he wants them to tell them, get their attention in a way that maybe they couldn't before, and that can make a big difference in their life and the life of other people who flirt around with that kind of lifestyle. Well, thank you, Mathani. I very much appreciate that. She said my diction was amazing. Thank you. I have to choose my words carefully because I never want to be, saying things offensively. And also to remember, especially as a Christian, it's very important that we do not present things in such a way as if, in a haughty way, as if we are so much better than other people in what they are doing, because that is not how I feel. And, and if you just think about it for a second, like how we look at other people, what is that expression about how, like, you just don't know what someone's going through? It's easy for us to judge each other and what someone's doing, but then you're like, but I don't really know why, what they're doing, which might seem crazy or seem extreme or like they're just a bad person. Could be that they're a broken person. It could be that they have just been through hell and back and they're just not functioning because they never got the tools to learn how to function. They didn't come from a functional home. They didn't learn how to be a functional adult, and now they make nothing but dysfunctional decisions. And not that should excuse you or exempt you from, the law applying to you or any of that. I'm just saying, from a compassionate place, I really want to be careful how I say things. Sorry, I'm being Mrs. Kravitz again. I'm spying on what's going on. So if you guys have noticed that I tend to look through the window when I talk to you guys, it's a habit now from being here, living in this neighborhood. Like, what's going on? What's happening? Who's that? Because I'm up here in this like a little bird's nest, and I'm up high. So when people walk by they can't even see me. I've stood down there just to see. and people can't even see up here. Hi.
Hey, sweet girl.
What's going on?
Just wanted to check something.
Mr. Crafty just came in here very quickly, like he was highly motivated. Is something wrong?
No.
Oh.
Here's your camera, and you go, look, look.
Is it on?
No, not right now.
Okay.
I can turn it on.
All right, Mr. Crafty he enabled me with the camera. Now I'm a cameraman, and I can show you what is out there, which is basically nothing right now. And our nice mailman is delivering our mail. I don't know if you guys have heard this, but I saw a newspaper posted a story about how during this time where more people are home and quarantine and all that, that there are more dog attacks on our mail carriers now, or delivery people, because people don't think about how when they open the door, the dog will race through the door and come barreling at the person they see as a intruder. Or your kids are home now. Kids are home during the day when the mail's coming every day, and they're like, hi, mailman, and the dog comes out. So apparently there's just more dog attacks from dogs protecting their home than before, because the dog could have been like in the house, in the backyard, but now that you're home, you're letting the dog be where it wants to be. And so I read that. So I feel terrible. That's why we prayed for our mail. Another reason why we prayed for our mail people this morning is that they're being attacked. So here's the street. Okay, so see, it's just a regular, nice, middle-class little neighborhood. And then that's the yard with the new neighbors. Those are new neighbors. But those used to be the not so good neighbors on the other side of that fence. And I have to tell you, the neighbors on the other side of that yard didn't like them either. And they used to there was like some big fighting, yelling at each other, arguments. And when the cops came, I practically was expecting them to be like cheering, because they so hated them as neighbors too. So yes, Marge, I have a top to my drink. Today I'm not fancy free. Justine says, hi, Papa Crafty. Awesome. Kelly got toilet paper. Yay. Life's essentials. I'm sure we'll have like a sense of calm as things kind of ratchet down and people feel less fearful, especially like, for instance, in communities where things ratcheted up, like here in California. So now we have this order in place, like stay out, just stay home. So that, in my mind, I could be wrong, but in my mind, that gives more opportunity for the stores to get stocked up again, because there's less people going to the stores and creating havoc on supply. So I'm hoping that what we'll see is the stores are able to kind of right themselves again, and then we'll see less panic buying. Now, in communities that haven't been hit yet, and that's a coming, then you guys will see the slope of that happening in your community, perhaps, and what that is like. If you have not experienced that, that's great, but I would exercise caution and make sure that you have enough food. So like California, New York, and Washington are sort of leading the timeline of already having measures in place. So if you live in a state where that hasn't happened yet, and you don't feel that panic in your area, this is a great time to just quietly kind of get yourself prepared, very casually, not panically, but in a casual way. Just start making sure you have essentials, because generally what happens is we see stuff on the news and on social media, and then we react. We're reactors, because that's what we do. So washing hands, like making sure you've got good hand soap or dish soap if you need to. Think outside the box. If everybody's buying hand soap, then go and look, like at the store, our little store. We have a small grocery store, okay, that serves this whole town. Yeah, in the entire town, there's one grocery store. So we went on a Thursday. The panic kind of escalated on Friday afternoon when we went the second time. You could definitely see the store was being impacted. But Thursday, we were like one of like, I don't know, maybe a dozen couples, like little clusters of people in the store. There was no panic. There was lots of stuff. The only thing missing at that time was hand sanitizer. There was still toilet paper, all of it. So it was really quick how fast it ratcheted up. But I noticed that all the hand soap was gone, but there was lots of dish soap, antibacterial dish soap. All soap is soap, according to the expert, so there's no need to like focus on it saying antibacterial. It's all soap. And it's how good you wash really is what matters. So washing your hands is your greatest defense in all of this, the experts say. Setting a timer if you need to with your Alexa or your phone. Just giving yourself a good wash is practice. Giving a daily little wipe down to all of your doorknobs in your house, because sometimes other family members aren't going to be good hand washers, and it's just a good habit to create. You know, it can't hurt. So yeah, if you're in an area where it's not yet really hit, get yourself some dish soap. Go outside of what everyone else is appearing to do. So hand sanitizer is great. If you have to leave your house and go work in public and all that, I think that is where hand sanitizer is a good tool. But if you're at home, washing your hands is just better. There's no reason to need hand sanitizer if you're just being at home anyway. That's my opinion. Kim says Trader Joe's only allows 30 people in the store at a time. That's awesome. Hi, Jane Oliver. Welcome to your very first live. That's wonderful. Yay, welcome, welcome. Maddie says, I can't keep groceries because I'm still working and not getting to the store. Maddie, what state do you live in? And is it kind of like quiet on the quieter side where you are, or are you in a more intense area? One thing I wanted to share is, I mentioned this yesterday. I was looking at different resources on YouTube, and there was some really great channels that really focus on really simple, like 3-ingredient meals. Just really like basic things, like basic things. Egg, potato, rice, ingredients that are more on the simple side. And so, ooh, I lost my monitor. Hi, Catherine. Welcome. There you go, Marge. She says that she unplugged today. It was causing her stress. It's just going to be what it is. That's the best way to look at it. It is what it is. It's going to be what it is. It's been intense here in the Bay Area. Agreed. From what I have seen and having lived in the Bay Area for 20 years, I wouldn't necessarily want to be in the Bay Area at this time. Yeah, there's still stores that are not monitoring their traffic. So here's a couple tips. I'm going to throw these out here in case you guys have not thought of them. I don't know if it's available in your area, but it's certainly worth trying. So one way of keeping you home is to utilize shopping services. Awesome, Kimberly. She says the emergency pouch is something I'm going to work on right now. That's a great idea. That will make you feel better, just in case. So there are services that you can use, like Instacart. Since all of this started, Instacart started adding more stores to its platform. And my mom, as I mentioned, lives in a small town. This is not this is like Grubhub, Uber Eats. They barely deliver here. There's very few places that will come. It's in between two more major-ish areas. So even Instacart was allowing purchases made from the larger areas to come in over here. So we utilized Instacart. Instacart here allows you to get deliveries from Safeway, Walmart, Costco, our local grocery store, Petco, CVS. So here's a lot of elderly people. This is where a lot of elderly people come to retire. They have a planned community for elderly people here that's very, very large. So I'm very aware we have a lot of elderly people here. And so there are all of these stores that they now have access to if they are aware of the app. You can sign up. The app will let you even have you can do a trial for 2 weeks for free. And then you can have your food delivered. It'll you can pay the $9.95 for a month, and if you just get a couple deliveries, it's worth the money because you don't have to go to the store yourself. And you tip, the driver gets a tip, and you can control how much that tip is. So that is one option. Yesterday, I placed an order. So Target has a platform now where you can order food for same day or next day delivery, depending on when you get your order in. And they have contracted with a company a lot like Lyft or Uber, where a person goes to the store for you, picks out the stuff that you put it in your cart and paid for. And if you choose, you can even have them text you. So you can have a texting conversation with your shopper, and they'll say, hey, this is out. What would you like instead? And my shopper was awesome. She took pictures of things and, hey, would you rather have this or this? I had her get me some lip balm, hair color, shampoo. There was stuff that I just didn't realize I didn't have, that I was like, well, I may as well, since I'm paying for this, I may as well have her do it. It was $9.95 for the fee, and then she got all my shopping. And I'm not sure if they have the shoppers shop for multiple clients at the same time, and then they deliver it to you. So you get this window of time that you can say, hey, I want my stuff delivered here. So I've had stuff delivered here from Costco, from Target, and Safeway. So I've utilized it 4 times because we're in a household with compromised people. So me and my mom are in that category. So we are following I kind of feel like over the top precautions. And at this point, I don't want Mark going into and out of the grocery stores on our behalf. So we have them leave it on the doorstep. And then if it's something that comes in a box or inside of a package, we'll open the box and spill the items into a bin or something. And those are fine. But if the shopper had to, if it was I don't know, an avocado or a bottle, and it was exposed to other people, then it's quarantined. So we have a little quarantine process going on with our groceries, or Amazon deliveries, and just, it's an abundance of caution. So I don't know if that helps you. So far, my Instacart and Target and all of that, I've gotten it that day or the next day. One of them, I know, another option is Schwan's. They're a nationwide chain. They specialize in foods that are prepared for you, but then they're freezer friendly. So everything's kind of it's kind of a convenience food company, and it's not like HelloFresh. It's not like that. It's more it's like going to the freezer section of your grocery store, frozen meals, but big servings or portions of them, and then for your whole family, and then they deliver it to you in a truck. And they've been around for a long time. So schwans.com, you can go on their website and see if that's an option for you in your area. I happen to think of them because my neighbor uses them, so I went on their website and got stuff because that was an option, and I just wanted to make sure, I hope I don't need it, but just in case. So I hope that could be helpful to you. We quarantine the products by leaving them in the garage. So when they come in, we just leave them in their packaging and let them sit. The last thing that we saw, cardboard is 24 hours is what the lifespan. So once you receive something, give it at least 24 hours if it comes in cardboard or it's in cardboard. If it's plastic, like a shopping bag, that one said 72 hours. So like I said, that kind of, if it's like that, it goes into the garage. If it's a perishable item, like we got some yogurt, that you can wipe with some antibacterial product that has at least 60% alcohol in it. If not, you can use rubbing alcohol if you needed to, and store it that way. And yes, yes, good point, Marge. A lot of the stores, nationwide stores, I know Target announced that they are doing that. I can't remember the other store. It possibly was Walmart. But some of the stores are making sure that they have special hours where they're open just to seniors and people with underlying health issues. I don't know how you prove the health issue that you have, but they're looking at people that are more compromised and need that time and don't have the ability to do that. So we have different deliveries. So the Amazon packages, they are automatically going into quarantine. Now, I read on a website that said, at the time, it said that there are certain types of environments that the virus could live on for up to 9 days. So using that at the time was what, well, I'm just going to have to wait to open things. So I bought like nail polish, stuff that was, in a picked from like a warehouse and packaged up and sent to me. So that box is still sealed up. It's inside the garage. It's waiting out its quarantine, and then I will touch it. Does that sound nuts? I don't know. Maybe it sounds a little extreme, but I wouldn't feel that way if I didn't think that, people that are compromised can get sick and die. If that wasn't the consequence, I probably would be like, let me at it. I was wondering if I'd open and use it. So I'm just using an abundance of caution. But that is what, so you can access that information going to the CDC or the I would go to the CDC as a place to find out the lifespan of products, because you just don't know. People are out in the stores and they can carry the virus and show no signs and not even realize they're sick, and they could be touching things. What if that's the thing that this person touches, like, should I get this or not get this, and then they walk away, leave it on the shelf, and then the next person comes along, grabs it, and they take it home. What if? That's all I'm saying. So I want all of us to be safe. And Maria says it's tough when you eat low carb. Amen. It is. If you've been used to eating a certain way, and now you are, I feel almost kind of forced back into eating in a way I don't want to. Yes, agreed. It is very hard, because the fresh vegetables is the stuff. So fresh vegetables are the things that, we're used to like eating more of, and now we're kind of in this situation. Jamie says the only time my father's shopping addiction has been beneficial. We have so much toilet paper, it's dumb. That and frozen food, dish hand sanitizer, and soaps galore. Well, hopefully this will just be a really good reminder to us, to just make sure that we're always a bit prepared for things. There's nothing wrong with holding on to things. Oh, Kimberly, you're so cute. She says, let's just take a step back and recognize Corey's voice is so soothing for what to pack in your pouch. Yes, let my voice soothe you into making good decisions, and you're just able to think through them very carefully. So yes, I'm not trying to, create panic in you. I'm sharing with you the more extreme measures we're taking. Mr. Crafty is reminding us that there's tape, that goes on your box. And right now, this is what experts are recommending, is like, this can't hurt to follow what we're saying, because we don't know stuff. The people who are helping us and giving us advice, they do not know this virus. They're not friends. This isn't something they studied up on. This is a novel coronavirus. Novel means new. It's new to them. It's a new strain. It behaves differently. They're like, what the heck? It doesn't do this. It doesn't do that. It's this very mysterious virus. They are starting to get to know it better. And so what they're just saying is, hey, best practices are this. From what we can tell, we haven't seen people report that they're getting sick because they touched their packages or any of those things. But those are all good questions. And if you need to get an ice chest, to quarantine your perishables, like a cheap styrofoam ice chest, that's a great idea. Get yourself an ice pack and a cooler if you're a compromised person or live in a household with a compromised person. An abundance of caution, because you will not want to go through what's going to happen if that person gets so sick they need to be hospitalized. It will change the course of your life. It could result in tens of thousands of doctor's bills. It can be that they don't come back. It can be that it puts a huge strain on your family, on yourself, because, you know, like in our case, if my mom got sick, I couldn't go to the hospital and be with her. My mom could go and I wouldn't be there because I'm compromised. If I got sick, I could die. So when you think through and just go, okay, this is what could happen. Am I going to risk it because I'm impatient and want to bust into my box of granola bars, or having someone I don't know doing my shopping? Will it kill me to just have my veggies or my things quarantined for a few days just to be safe? I don't think so. I think there's nothing wrong with just being cautious and just thinking through, this is what could happen, so I need to do everything in my power to avoid that conclusion. Does that mean you go crazy and buy up everything you can? No, because we do want to be cautious and making sure we're not also stressing out our the store, and there's other people too that definitely are looking for groceries as well. Yay, Kelly! Her neighbor finally turned off their music. Okay, so, yep, Cheryl Ann, so true. Be prepared. That's our motto here in California, with earthquakes, fires, and this. Yeah, and in some parts of California, there's another twofold, the mudslides. So in some parts, what happens when there's a fire is the following season, when the rain comes, that ground has been so compromised from the fire of the year before that it becomes a mudslide situation. So California definitely has interesting features about it, but we can agree, I would pick our problems over a hurricane or a tornado any day. Like I would weather what we deal with, because what we deal with is more infrequent, whereas I feel like every year you can count on tornadoes, hurricanes. There's always going to be those two things. It's like they come, like there's a season for them, which is so interesting. Oh, Marge, she said, just an FYI, my sister fell and had to go to the ER last night. Her husband was not allowed in with her. He sat in his car from 4 p.m. to 3 a.m. waiting for word from the doctors. That is so sad. That's sad. And that's what I mean. Like, you want to think through to the end result of the decisions you're making, and I've been trying to tell my daughter that, like, do you really need this item that you feel like you need to go to the store for? Just because you can go, does that mean you should go? Yeah, like there's a lot of young people, a lot of millennials who do not have health insurance. Do they really want to have tens of thousands? I mean, when I see my doctor's bills from my trip to, my bill from getting picked up in an ambulance and taken a mile away was $3,500. You could buy a car for $3,500. That's how much it cost to drive me from the urgent care to the ER, less than a mile apart. $3,500. And when I think about all of the other bills that are going to come from the ICU, staying in there for 3 days, the hospital, all the doctors involved, imagine what will happen when you have to go in. If you get sick and more young people are getting sick, imagine what will happen if you end up with days of having to be, being treated, and may not get a respirator, may not get the things that you need, and you stay sicker. I mean, there is just absolutely the consequences to all the little decisions because of a stupid little germ, a stupid little virus. And I quite frankly am very happy with the fact that the governor said stay home. I really am. I'm glad that a definitive decision's made, and we're just going to roll with it, and we're going to just, whatever the consequences are, we will deal with them, but lives will be saved for sure. So, what specifically about that one, Mark?
Dawn was just talking about her silhouette, how it was being finicky, and she did try turning it off and on again. So I asked her about the IT Crowd. She said she hadn't watched it. So
okay, Mr.
It's like a petri
dish for your friends. Okay, so Mr. Crafty had a suggestion for those of you who have struggled with your silhouette and like just getting to know it, make it work, all the little technology issues and all that kind of thing. There's a really funny show. It's a British show on Netflix called The IT Crowd, and it is really funny. Now, I will be the first to admit that British humor is not always something that I have embraced or loved. There's been some shows I like I loved Absolutely Fabulous. I loved The Young Ones when I was in high school. But for the most part, I'm not really a big British humor person. But the IT Crowd, I think, is hilarious. And it has so many funny lines. But one of its most famous line is how they answer the phone. Have you tried turning it off and on again? Because anyone calling them to say, this is broken, this doesn't work, that's just really their first answer. Have you tried turning it off and on again? So Mr. Crafty loves that line. Every time I have a tech issue, he loves to ask me that. And I should know by now that that's going to be the case, that he's going to ask me. But the funniest episode that he feels, the funniest episode, is called Friend Face. It's really, it's kind of a joke on Facebook, and how the social media of like connecting with all your friends and all of that, how it kind of started. And so he is asking for those of you who have not watched that show, if you would be so kind as to do Mr. Crafty a solid and watch Friend Face. It's called The IT Crowd. I will look it up here. The IT Crowd. He thinks that's the funniest one. Personally, I there's another episode that I love more. The IT Crowd, Friend Face. It's season 3, episode 5. Ah, there's a gnat. Pah! It was like right up in my eyeballs. Season 3, episode 5 is called Friend Face, which is making fun of Facebook. So that will be your introduction to the IT Crowd, should you not have seen it before. But it is really funny. And you might recognize one of the actors in it, because he has gone on and to be in some really great, funny movies. And he's a really good actor. He's got that delicious Irish accent. So I love watching. I've seen like a lot of his movies that he's been in. He also went on to be in a really cute show that was, I think it was if it wasn't a British show, it was an Irish show, one of the two. I'm sorry, I can't remember. It was called Moon Boy, and I think that is also on Netflix. It came to an end. The series ended, and from what I remember reading, it came to an end because he didn't want to continue, doing season after season. He was starting to get film roles. And a lot of times people, when they start getting into that situation, they start moving away from the TV platform and going to make movies. And so, and that's what he opted to do. So Moon Boy is another show, and he was the imaginary friend to a little boy in this little village. And I can't remember. I want to say it's an Irish show. So all the accents, so delicious. And if I'm wrong, can somebody correct me? So there's quite a few of you that are like, yeah, I love that show. My husband is a tech person, so whenever we have to call our internet service, I always have to say, please just transfer me to a tier 3 person. Don't ask us if we have turned it off and on. That's Miss Mandy saying that. Justine says, my man loves that show. Holly says, I love the IT Crowd. Jamie says the same thing. I love it so much. Patty says, that's my go-to. B says, I started watching the IT Crowd per your recommend. Yolanda says, I love the IT Crowd. It's so 2008. It totally is. It is from a different, era. But it's really funny. Yeah, Diana says the British humor is a little different. It is. And look, I'm about to say something. Please, I hope this is not offensive. Part of what my struggle personally is with British humor is it seems like it's very referential to a lot of like people and cultural references. A lot of what I've seen like on TV that's British humor, and so I don't understand it. I don't know who that is or what they're referring to, so it's not funny. The delivery often is they talk very fast, so I feel like when I watch stuff, I'm struggling to put together what I think I'm hearing. But I remember from watching Absolutely Fabulous, I'm sure a lot of us have seen an episode of that series. They were always referring to famous British people and famous British moments in history or events or places, and so it's hard to laugh when you don't understand what they're talking about. So that was one of my big takeaways, is I didn't get it. And then I don't really have a whole lot of like references to British humor before. Like I watched The Young Ones when I was in high school, and that was old then. So that show was from like I want to say the early 80s, early to mid 80s is when The Young Ones was on, and that was a show I really liked, but I didn't understand half of what they said. It was just, I felt like I was cool because I liked it, and MTV is who played it. So at the time you could watch it on MTV. And before that, I don't remember anything. I know a lot of people love Monty Python. I didn't like, my grandparents watched Benny Hill, and I always thought he was like, I don't know, like a pervert. I just didn't get any of the humor or why it was funny. So, and I don't necessarily think that British people get our humor. I've always sort of perceived it as like we just have a different style of joke telling, or what is funny. What's funny to you guys may not be funny to us, and vice versa. But for the first time, the IT crowd watching it, I was like, this is a genuinely funny show. And people really loved that show. They they came back. I mean, I don't honestly remember how many years, like the show ended and then years passed. It could have been as much as 5 years passed. And they finally did like another, they called it like another season on Netflix, but really it's just one more episode. And it was sort of like a summing up of everything's episode where everyone wanted closure. So the fans got that, they rallied and got them to make like this kind of like special episode that would kind of sum everything up. So I'm sorry. I hope that my UK friends are not offended. I don't know if you guys get us. Mallory says, I have the same issue with some American humor. Grew up with British TV shows here in Australia, so I do get most British humor. And I would think you guys do. For some reason, when I think of Australians and British, I feel like there's a better, like an understanding, or a better of like you guys have more similarity in how you are. I don't know. These are just little perceptions I have in my own head. I don't know if other people share them. So I'm just sharing a little corner of my mind right now. Patty says that she grew up watching British programs with her mom. B says it's also slapsticky physical humor. Yes, Benny Hill was very slapsticky. And he was always pinching girls' butts. That's what I remember. Cozy says that she never got Benny Hill. I didn't understand it at all. But I have the theme song of Benny Hill like stuck in my brain. I'm sure we can all play it in our little head if we wanted to. Jamie said my mom introduced me to Monty Python at a young age, and some weird British department store. So funny. I think that show is something about served. Can we serve you? How can we serve you? Am I right, you guys? I think that's the show about the British department store. It's about something about serve. Have you got served? Can we serve you? Like here in America, if you say you got served, it has a totally different meaning. But I think it's something about serving you. Muthani says, I use captions and Google a lot of stuff when I watch British comedy shows. You know what I do when I watch British shows? I'm recording like all of the cute little references and expressions they have. So one of my favorite things I ever heard on a TV show was Call the Midwife. And one of the characters would say tickety boo. And I think that is like one of the best expressions I've ever heard. Tickety boo. That's so cute. Hi, Kristen. Teresa says it's Faulty Towers. B agrees. Humor is cultural. Very true. Jamie says my dad introduced me to a movie called Time Bandits. I totally remember that movie. That movie gave me nightmares. I thought that was a creepy, weird movie. Do you guys remember Time Bandits? It was about the little boy, and I don't remember the circumstances of how he ended up with this band of, they were little people. I don't remember all the circumstances, but they were dwarves. I don't know. I don't know if those two terms mean the same thing and how we use them now, but they were like a band of like pirates, but not like yo ho ho pirates, like space pirates. Like it was just kind of a fantasy movie, and it was scary. I didn't like it. Patty says I just found friend face. Yay. Lisa confirmed it. Yes. Are you being served? She says it's the best. She says, "Hi, Happy Scrappy." Are You Being Served was my favorite British show. Marina says I lived in the UK for 6 years and my husband is British. You lucky girl. So love their shows, especially their drama. Hands down the best. Ray says I love Call the Midwife. Martha says Keeping Up with Appearances is so funny. So that's a TV show. Are You Being Served? Are You Being Served? Lots of people saying that they love Call the Midwife. I loved it all the way up through season 3, and then me and my mom stopped watching it. It changed so much that I didn't like it as much as I feel like season 3 is always a pivotal season. It can go one or two ways. Marge says Time Bandits. Why is that familiar? It's an unsettling movie. That's my little girl perception. I just remember going, oh my gosh, it was scary. There was a scene in it where they're being chased by something and they're pushing this wall. It's like a very much like, think of it like, what's that movie called? The Never Ending Story. It's like a fantasy movie like that. And there's like evil in it and good. And it was just scary. And this little kid is somehow kidnapped by this band of, they felt like they were mean. They like weren't nice dwarves. And they just had, like, they were thieves and stuff. I don't know. I think I don't remember all the details, obviously, but, Gail says, All Creatures Great and Small was really good, too. Patty says that she's addicted to British mysteries. Okay, I'm behind, so I'm catching up because you guys like started talking really fast, and then so I got behind. So I'm sorry. Hi, Marge. Okay, bye. Catch you on the replay. Maddie says Doctor Who. I know that show is like super popular. So many people watch it. I don't think I've ever watched a single episode of it. Vanessa says Labyrinth is good. It is good, but it's kind of disturbing. Like as an adult going back and watching it, I'm like, yikes, there's some disturbing parts of this movie. I'll be honest with you. Janet says her mayor in Kansas City just issued a stay-at-home order effective Tuesday. Diana says, I think the British actors and actresses have amazing talent. They seem classically trained in their craft. There is a very funny YouTube video I've seen that there's several British actors are being asked, what is the most difficult American accent you have had to play in a movie? And it's hilarious. Another video is who had the very worst British accent of any American actor, hands down. I want you guys to see if you can guess who it was. It was unanimous. Like every single person, every British actor that was asked that of, they all answered the same thing. So there was a American actor who did a British accent in the movie he was in, that apparently has like just stood the test of time as the very worst English accent ever known. And when I tell you, you guys will, most of us have seen the movie. I'll say that most of us have seen the movie. Okay. I think I've caught up. Okay. Some of you guys are talking to each other, so I'm just making sure. Yep. You are correct. Muthoni, Mallory, you are correct. You guys were fast. Did you guys see that video I'm talking about? Yep, Patty, correct. It's Dick Van Dyke in the movie Mary Poppins. Apparently, his Cockney accent was incredibly horrible to all of the British actors. They were joking about it. They weren't truly offended, but they were really like, OMG, was it bad? And we can't believe that they let that roll. So apparently he was like, oh, Jamie, yes, I love Sliding Doors. Oh my gosh, I love that movie. If it was like PG, we would totally watch that, but it has some like adulty stuff in it that I would feel uncomfortable choosing as a movie watch day. So, but yeah, Sliding Doors is an awesome British movie that I love. Apparently Kevin Costner is getting thrown under the bus. There's a series of videos, and okay, so I'm going to say this. I could be wrong, so please take this with a grain of salt. I think Vogue magazine, they started doing these really cool series. Let me see if I'm right. So Vogue magazine has a channel, and they started doing these fun interviews with celebrities. But maybe it's not Vogue. It could be a different magazine I'm thinking of, because I've also seen Harper's on here. I'm not seeing it once. Okay, so I don't think it's Vogue. There's a magazine. I'll try to find it and share this with you. So be sure to sign up for the TRG Insider. This is the kind of stuff I'm saying. If I find cool stuff, I want to share it with my girlfriends. They started interviewing different actors from different countries, and just kind of casually talking to them and saying, in your country, what does this word mean? And then just giving them just certain words, or what are these expressions mean in your country? So whoever's interviewing them has a list of expressions, and then those, usually it's 2 actors, will give you answers. So I've seen Idris Elba, Russell Crowe, just tons of people from around the globe. Vanity Fair, thank you, honey. I knew it was a magazine. So Vanity Fair, and it is really funny. Idris Elba, who I did not know because I've never seen him play an English role until recently. He is one that would have a Cockney accent, except that he doesn't actually sound like he has one to me, because all I've ever heard are these exaggerated versions that Americans do. So I didn't really know. And apparently in England there are many different variations of accents, so it's really interesting. So right here is the video I was mentioning, British stars on which American accent is hardest to do. It has 12 million views. So if you go through here, there's some pretty funny little snippet videos, just different actors being asked things. But it's really funny to hear people that we watch in movies try to explain what these expressions mean, and sometimes they are hilarious. So there's Irish actors talking, there's people from, I mean, you name the country and there's somebody who will explain it to you what it is. So it's hilarious. Mariposa's like, Idris. Yes, Idris Elba, he's positive for the virus. He posted a video, and he said his wife isn't positive, and I hope she doesn't become positive, but they had not tested her yet. So he said he was. And I am not surprised that celebrities would get sick, or like athletes, because think about how every time they go in public, people want to talk to them. They're touching them, like shaking their hand, asking for an autograph. Like there's a lot of touchy stuff going on when a celebrity goes out. That's what I'm guessing is why there's quite a few of them that are saying I'm positive. So Tom Hanks and his wife Rita Wilson, they are being quarantined in Australia because they tested positive. So it's just very interesting. But I'm very, very glad to see so much caution is taken and so much quarantining is happening. Doesn't that make you guys feel better? It's not that we're hearing all these reports of all these things, the numbers are climbing. It's that things are happening. Like, let's mitigate this. We ask that you guys stay home. the cutest little old man. This little elderly man walks by here every day.
You can show him.
He's checking out here. I'll show you guys. This sweet little man, he comes up, he has his little, oh, he's stopping to watch the jet, but he walks by, he has his little, I don't know what you'd call that. It's like a walker on wheels, so he can sit down if he needs to. At first his wife was walking with him, and now it's just him. But he loves walking up here to the corner of the street because he loves looking at my mom's yard. He told her all about how he loves that when she moved in, my mom did a lot of improvements here. So he just loves coming up to look at her yard and then walk down. He's very sweet. Okay, Hannah says the UK has so many dialects and it's odd to hear your accent on TV. I'm from Stoke-on-Trent and we have the most boring accent when you hear it on TV. It doesn't sound like that in my head. That's what's so interesting to me about the way we talk is, do I talk like, I mean, think about that for a second. When you think in your head of how you're saying things, like I'm hearing myself talk and you hear yourself talk, do you hear yourself with an accent, or do you think you're just talking like you're talking like everyone talks around you, right? So it doesn't sound like anything until you hear somebody else and you're like, is that what I sound like? I know, I love accents from all over too. This is my favorite. This is one of the reasons why I love the international late night crafty club shows, is getting to talk to all of the international girls and be like, okay, you guys, what does this mean? And for those of you who are married and got to marry an international person and get to listen to a delicious accent every single day, you are so blessed. How fun is that? Okay, let's see here. EJ's like, I cannot with the spy cam. That's what we're going to call it, the spy cam. What's going on out there? You guys will see the incredibly exciting life that I lead from the back of the RV. Oh, look, there's a neighbor. Look, there's a dog. I think in some ways, if it wasn't for the internet, I would lead a very small life. And I don't say that to like be self-deprecating. I think that I'm just being very honest. I lead a very small life, but when you put the internet in there, then obviously my reach is like, woo, look how lucky I am that I get to talk to ladies in another country. You guys are wired in from other countries, and we're sitting here on a Saturday afternoon. I'm showing you my neighbors and we're just talking about accents and we're talking about everything and nothing. EJ says, I know I sound so country. I hate to hear my voice. Aw, EJ, where are you from? Tracy, in my opinion, is the most country sounding friend I have. Tracy Claiborne, my sweet friend. I was doing the podcast with her, and she is like, and she'll say that too. I've heard her say that she's just very country. She's from Tennessee, and I think it's so cute. But yeah, I think a lot of the British actors, I think they were pretty much in agreement that the Southern accent, it's a little harder. I was surprised. I'm always surprised when I find out that someone I watch in a show, when I hear him interviewed, and I don't watch a lot of that type of TV, so this was a while ago. Like finding out how many actors, actresses that were on The Walking Dead, for instance, were not American. That was surprising. Oh no! Mr. Crafty just shared with me that Kenny Rogers passed away today. How sad. He died at 81. He died away peacefully at home under natural causes. From natural causes under the care of hospice. He brought a lot of people joy with his music. What a great legacy. When I was in high school, I worked for a lady who was a huge Kenny Rogers fan, and she made this enormous like shrine to him on the wall, and it was just nothing but pictures of him. So when we were making our sandwiches to serve customers, it's like you were looking at Kenny all day long. Just pictures of him everywhere, and she'd play his music all the time. So I can picture him in my head singing, because we just are Always listening to him. So rest in peace, Mr. Rogers. Doreen says that she's in North Dakota, and some say I have an accent. By the way, the movie Fargo is really more of a Minnesota accent. Yes, true, but I don't know. I feel like North Dakota gets a bit of that. I think there's some crossover, I would say, from what I've experienced. EJ says she had a Tennessee accent. It's different from mine. Where are you from, EJ? What state are you in? Did I miss that? Let me go. Hi, Teresa. Justine says you need to start practicing an accent, Mark. Bonnie says, only when my New Orleans accent comes out does anyone say anything. Lisa's, I bought the Harmony kit, but where do I find the cover page? If you're talking about this, okay, so the Harmony kit, hang on a second, I need to think that through. Is the Harmony kit a separate purchase? I think oh, I know what you're talking. Okay, now I get it. It's the set of printables. Are you asking me about this particular page, Lisa? Just to clarify this, are you asking where this is from? This is actually one of the printables in the workshop. So if you purchase the printables, then whatever's in that file is what comes with them. If you were looking for this, it's a separate thing. This is from one of the workshop, which you can, if you didn't get the workshop, I believe that workshop is available for sale. Am I wrong? Mr. Crafty, could you double check that? Because I keep saying that and I could be completely wrong. Sorry, I'm scrolling up, I'm scrolling down. I'm all over the place trying to catch up to where was I? Hello. She had a different mind. Okay, so I'm still, Jamie says, when I go to Florida, people ask me where I'm from. California. They always ask me if I know celebrities or live near LA. Me too. When I went to England when I was in high school, and every time we got to meet any English kids, we got to meet some English boys, me and my friend in high school, and every time we said we were from California, the immediate question was, do you know any celebrities? Do you live in Hollywood? And because that was, I guess, the perception of California is everybody knows celebrities there. Maria says our Welsh friends told us we sound like dogs barking. When I went to England, I got made fun of a lot for the way that I pronounced words. It made me very self-conscious because I didn't realize how we sounded until English people showed me like my pronunciation, and it was very funny. Like I remember telling the kids, because my dad owned a British car, so I thought, okay, here's something that they could relate to. My dad owns a Jaguar, and they're like, a Jaguar? Like that's not how you say it. No, it's a Jaguar. A Jaguar? What the heck is that? It didn't even sound the same, but everything they say sounds so proper and beautiful, and we just sound like crud in comparison. I remember when I was there, listening to the news, they would even say things like, today there was 20 tons of cannabis picked up on the dock. And like, cannabis? What's cannabis? I didn't even know it because it wasn't called that then. No one I knew ever called it that. But it was just like the way that they would say things. Like our news didn't call they would say marijuana, but there it was cannabis. Like it was this proper Latin name. Maureen says, I have a strong New England accent. Where did my R's go, right? Your R's are like like an H. It just gets flattened out. And I have to tell you, Maureen, when I was in New England, I'm not even embarrassed, but every time we stopped somewhere, I'd get my phone and try to record a New Englander talking. This one time we pulled into a gas station and there was like 5 men, all of them huddled around the gas pump, and they started talking about hunting season, and I had my phone pressed to the window because I was like, I'm going to get this conversation recorded because I wanted to hear real New Englanders talk. And we were in Maine, and we were like really in a woodsy place, so I figured if we're going to hear like a real Maine accent, it's going to be here, not in the city, but out here in the country. And it was awesome. That's all I wanted to do was just get that on tape. Just on tape. I just totally showed my age right there. You know, like on my little recorder. Just, I love it. I love it. It's so funny to me. I don't know how that happened. It's so, do you guys ever get curious about that? Like, how come certain regions of our countries started shaping words a certain way? How did Southerners start that drawl? We all have the same ability to talk, you know, the same way, but we don't. We roll out our words down here. We have a ha sound over here. And I don't even know what to make of anybody on the West Coast. I don't know what we do differently. I don't feel like we have really an accent or anything cool going on. Maybe it's just the words we use that are different, more, I don't know, casual words. Oh, Mr. Crafty is giving silhouette advice, because apparently some of you are doing some cutting today. Good job.
Yes. So just a quick note for those people using the silhouette. I tried to keep the video simple, so the yellow layer, if you move it to the very top, if it cuts that first, it'll let you know how accurate it's going to cut the sheet. The rectangles at the top, what those are used for was when we were cutting sheets professionally for people, I wanted to make sure that we had good cuts, but by pulling the stickers off and putting them back down, the sheets weren't pristine, so I came up with a better way to do it, which is once you pull your sheet off, those strips at the top, if you separate the two, it will let you know how well it cut the rest of the sheet without touching the rest of the sheet. That's what those things are for.
And some of us just heard wah 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 wah. The girls trying to understand their silhouette are like, oh, I totally get this. Thank you so much, Mr. Crafty. And some of us are just like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm sorry, I couldn't resist. I couldn't help it. Okay, just to clarify, because I see some comments in the chat room, referring back to my little story about the marijuana thing. Yes, here on the West Coast we call it pot. We called it pot when I was younger. I'm not talking about like just regular casual people. I meant on the news they don't call it pot. On the news they usually would have a nicer way of saying it. So like when you would hear a news report, they would say, you know, 20 tons of marijuana was, you know, found at the dock today and 20 people were arrested. Well, what I was trying to say is over there in England they would say cannabis, which I have never heard a news person call it cannabis until the laws change, and now we call them a cannabis club and a cannabis store. Now you hear that. I'm saying, like, among your friends, you would say pot, or weed here in California. So I just want to clarify that. I wasn't suggesting that this was kids walked around called it marijuana. So yes, totally hear you. Okay, so so Patty, yes, I was being rude and hurtful. There's another example of how I'm rude and hurtful, but I couldn't help it. It was funny. Also, Hannah, she says, I assume it's the same overseas, but here in the UK, we even have region-specific words. So things I say in Stoke, your neighborhood, people in London wouldn't necessarily know what I was talking about. That is interesting. I would probably say that's probably true, but I don't know, like, yeah, I would say like Southerners have their way of talking and New Englanders, they have expressions that are, you know, special to them. But I think there's a whole bunch of the country that, like, if you were from the Southwest, I don't think there's Southwestern cultural words or things that we wouldn't understand or know. So I think there's just maybe, like, I think people in, like, the East Coast, people in New York have a lot of expressions that I think are really funny. People in that, like, the New York, Philadelphia, like the more urban-y area of the East Coast, they have expressions, but because I've heard them on YouTube, but I don't know. I just don't feel like I can think of anything that's like special for us. But one thing I would love to know, in England, there's a lot of towns that will say, like, I think you said it earlier, like Trent on Stoke. I visited Stratford upon Avon. I think it's interesting that you guys have an on and a pon in between two other terms, and that's the name of the city. Let's discuss. I'm so curious. Why? What does that mean? Is it like the city upon a lake? The city upon a is like, so Stratford upon Avon. What is Stratford and what is Avon? All I know is that when we went there, it was where William Shakespeare wrote a lot of his plays. There was a little there. His girlfriend Anne something. Her house was there, and they wanted us to like do a tour. I did not want to. I'm not a fan of William Shakespeare. It's very hard to understand for me. So I was like little bitter Betty, like I don't want to go. But I'm just going to use that as an example because I've always wanted to know, and I've never known. So. All right, so Serenity agreed with me on that one. She and so does Vanessa that we just heard. Wah, 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 wah. So yes, I am really behind on the comments. 1 second. So I had a lot of people laugh, 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 ha, ha, ha. Some rude and hurtfuls. Soft drink versus soda versus pop. Tracy told me that all the soda in Tennessee, just Tennessee apparently, like okay, maybe this has made its way out of Tennessee, but from what I understand, Tennessee is the hotbed for always calling a soda Coke. So all soda is Coke. I thought that was funny. In the Midwest, it's pop or soda pop, and but mostly pop. From what I understand, these are observations I have been recording in my little book because it's really funny. Oh my gosh, Cozy, that's funny. Your dad calls it lid. Wonder why he'd call it that. Call it by a measurement. So those of you guys in the Midwest are the pop girls. And then we have this little, in fact, I saw a really super funny meme, and I think it was somebody from Tennessee. It was a map of the United States, and it was segmented to show that this part of the country calls it soda. This part of the country calls it pop. And then this little tiny circle was around that state that calls it Coke. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but it's really, really funny. Okay, I'm almost caught up. I'm catching up. Okay, I'm going to let one of those comments slip by. Cindy says that's what we say in Alabama too. It's all a Coke. That's weird. How is that, like, if you place an order at a restaurant, can I have a Coke? That just begs for a follow-up question. Well, what kind of Coke do you want? Why wouldn't you just say I want a Sprite? Riddle me that, Batman. I'm so curious how that happens. I mean, aren't you guys curious about that? How we got from turning an entire group of drinks into all the same name. So like then you have to differentiate them by saying Sprite. So why don't we just say, or do you just say I want a Sprite and not say Coke? When do you say Coke? I'm so curious. Oh, in New Zealand, Lisa says it's fizzy. That's just adorable. Diana is the rebel because she lives in Tennessee and she calls it a soft drink. Tina says, here in the mountains of Tennessee, the phrase, I don't care to, actually means I'll be glad to help. That's hilarious. Okay, thank you, Amanda. She has clarified. It's a town by the river Avon. So Stratford upon Avon, in its technical, like, what do you call that? What does this stand for? What does this mean? It means it's a town by the river Avon. So Stratford is the town, and the river is Avon. Thank you so much. You have just solved a mystery that has plagued me oh so long. Oh, much longer than I wish. It's a town. Okay. Just making a note. It's weird how things plague us. I'm serious, that plagued me. You'd think I would have just Googled that by now, but I just haven't. And this is pretty cool because now I just got a nice explanation from my community member. So Cindy says the follow-up question, what flavor Coke you want? Oh my gosh. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. That is not a very efficient way of ordering a drink, ladies. Oh my gosh. Anna says, I think this girl was Aussie. She was visiting a friend. When we said we were rooting, like, cheering, rooting at the football game, she could not believe it. The word meant something to her that we would not do at a game. Oh my goodness. Now, is it getting warm in here? I feel like I'm blushing. What kind of Coke do you want? That is funny. Coke was for a Coke as opposed to a Pepsi or 7-Up. Doreen says, and what about those who call dinner lunch and supper dinner? I got called out all the time when we moved from the south to the north. I can imagine. That must have been a hard transition. Is Pepsi okay? No, it isn't. Hi, Kimberly. Okay, so, see, if you scroll down too much, then I lose where I was. Okay, Kim says, you name it, but you ask a friend. Do you want to go get a Coke? Or I need to pick up Cokes. Could mean any soft drink. Yes, Patty, that's one of my favorite Southern words. So in the South, they call the shopping cart, we call them a cart, would be a buggy. I just think that's adorable. When Tracy says, I gotta get a buggy, I'm like, oh my gosh, so cute. How come we don't use cute words? A cart. That's not cute. So yes, Tess said I had to learn in Houston to say exactly what you want the first time. So I learned something too when I went to the South. So I learned when you go to the South that you have to specifically say you want unsweet tea. You can't just say I want iced tea. You're welcome. That's your little tip. Should you travel to the South, if you don't want a surprise, be sure to say I want unsweet tea. Because there's a huge difference. I took one sip of that and like my eyeballs. What? Okay. Well, Miss Kathy Adams says she has a new unused silhouette that she got last summer. So you need to put that to work. This could be your opportunity to become a silhouette genius. Like just put it to work. Make yourself stickers. Here's your chance. Claire says, I live in Nottingham. Isn't Nottingham like an adorable place that you live? I think it is. I was watching a thing about real estate in England, and they were saying like it's a very special place. Hello, Nottingham. Plus it's cute. Nottingham. What do I know about that? Isn't that okay, again, showing my American ignorance here. Nottingham is where, in Robin Hood, the Sheriff of Nottingham. I know everyone's probably thinking of the movie with, what's his face? Julia Roberts and, Hugh Grant. Oh gosh. Is that right? Yeah. That was painful trying to pull that one out of my head. Ooh, interesting. I have been watching a lot of British TV. There are some really awesome, if you guys, I don't know if you have access to them through Netflix. I don't know if you guys get Netflix in the UK, but there are some shows that are just fabulous. And one of them, or two of them had to do with interior design. And one of them would like talk about the history, like each pair of interior designers would go to a different type of architecture neighborhood. There would be something special about that neighborhood historically, and then their challenge was to redesign it based on, the challenges of that type of architecture. And I'm trying to think of, because there's two shows and they both sound very, very much alike. Master Interior Netflix. Interior Masters, maybe that's it. Did you guys see that? Okay, that's not it. That's not it. That's not the one. I mean, that is one, but it's not the one I'm trying to talk about. They're so similar. Me and my mom just started talking, watching the, I started watching it. She's been watching it for a while. The Bake Off, the British Bake Off show, which when they do the Bake Off in like the tent. You guys love your baked goods. Like there's like a whole like very very traditional little bakery items, and it's very interesting. The care that goes into. Okay, for some reason I'm not able to pull this up. Shoot. Okay, let's see here. Hopefully I'll remember it. It'll come back to me. But they actually have such similar names on Netflix that it makes it hard to differentiate them in my memory. Oh, they're called trolleys. So a buggy in the South, a cart, many other places, and they're called a trolley. That's right. I have heard that now that you say it. That's adorable. Yes, a shopping trolley. Okay. Cerny says, we ain't got no time for multiple questions just to order a drink. So if you want a vanilla Coke, you would be disappointed if you don't add saying vanilla. So yes, sweet tea, that's your PSA for today. Should you find yourself visiting the South, please, for the love that is holy, please be sure to say unsweet if if you don't like sweet tea. Okay, buggy for shopping cart. Going back. Oddly enough, given my southern roots, I don't drink sweet tea. EJ, you better be careful. You're going to get kicked out. You're going to rip up your card. Hi, Sloan. Back from your little walk. Excellent. You walked for all of us. Cindy says there's that's also in that book, Speaking American. Apparently we have a whole book written about it. Sandy says, do you have a list of words that you like? It's fun to have. I did start a word list. However, let this be a lesson to all of you, is I did not keep good track of it. And you know how like we end up getting like multiple little notebooks everywhere? I feel like that's what happened to it. It just kind of like got sucked into something, and now I don't know where it is or what it, and it had really good words. It was probably one of the prompts from Lister's Got a List, because I love words and it's fun to like keep track of stuff. I keep them in my phone now. I'll have to revisit that. Doreen, glue stick down. Doreen has a glue stick down. Glue stick down alert. I don't have my card. Mr. Crafty, can you put up the card? Quick, like a bunny. Glue stick down. Tess says glue stick down. Excellent, guys. Good job. You're all using your glue sticks like champs. The Great British Baking Contest. Thank you, Jamie. That is the Great British Bake Off. It's fun to watch. Ooh, hot chicken. What's that? Maria says, look, Corey, we are scared of this silhouette, okay? Some people are afraid. I get you. I am too. I mean, I look at it and go, but fortunately, the silhouette didn't come into my life because I saw it and wanted it and bought it and then tried to figure it out. The silhouette came into my life because Mr. Crafty wanted it, and that was his toy. So he's just been the one. So I am spoiled, okay? I totally get it, and I don't mean to make light of your fear, because I get it. It does look like an intimidating machine. But this is what I have to say. Mr. Crafty is ever so patient, and that's definitely something that he tries to put like little tips out there to help you guys. And I've told him multiple times that he should do some videos. One of the issues for Mr. Crafty, though, this is why I think he struggles with that idea, is because many of you are going to use the Silhouette Studio software to produce your stickers, and he doesn't use that. He uses the Adobe Connect add-on. So he uses Illustrator, he makes all of his stuff there, and then we use this little add-on software that will talk allow Illustrator to talk to Silhouette. So we bypass the Silhouette studio completely. And I think that's part of the issue. But you never know. I think that we'll be able to turn that tide one day. Okay, thank you guys for clarifying. There's a difference between Nottingham and Notting Hill. Oh my gosh. I say that. Thank you for your graciousness, you guys. I can't believe some of the stuff that comes out of my mouth. Yes, that's forever on this is that I was like, yeah, Nottingham. Isn't that movie with Hugh Grant? All right. I'll just make fun of myself. I'm sure you guys are like smirking. I'm Julia Childs. Yes, that's enough. I don't know where that came from, but I'm just voicing it for you, Jamie. Okay, so I'm going. I think I'm behind, so I'm going faster down here. B says she's been watching Zembo's Just Desserts. It's an Aussie dessert making show. I saw that. I've decided that I'm just not going to watch certain things because I can't eat any of that. So there's no point in watching. It would be torturous, I think, because that's one of my weaknesses. Okay, yeah, I was really behind. Sorry, I'm being quiet. I am trying to make sure that Cindy, you are reminding me of something I forgot about. I have a favorite words list. It reminds me of the movie The Glass Slipper with Leslie Caron. Caron. The Glass Slipper. Isn't that a movie that the actress has very short hair, kind of like Mia Farrow short hair, like Mia Farrow. Wasn't The Glass Slipper like that, or am I totally imagining? I've not thought of that movie, and it's something I saw as a kid. It's sort of like a take on Cinderella. Does it have Richard Chamberlain in it? Am I just making up this whole thing in my head right now? Do you guys remember a movie called The Glass Slipper? I'm trying not to Google it. I just want to know. Maddie, I've not heard of this. Does anyone remember the children's show called Hot Fudge Sunday? I'm already interested. Which used to air on Sunday mornings. The Giggle Snort Hotel? Anybody? A show called Hot Fudge Sunday. I'm surprised that didn't catch my attention as a child. That would have been like, I'm into that, whatever that is. Bye, Mary. Enjoy your mission. Linda says, I don't know which is easier to use, Silhouette or Cricut. I really don't like fussy cutting. And some of us don't. And if you are hating fussy cutting, then yeah, I guess the best thing then is to master one of them. What do you guys think? What would you say would be what's easier, and do enough of you have experience with both to be able to answer that? Mr. Crafty, what would you say? Because you've used both. So yeah. So Maria says, I would pay for a video tutorial from Mr. Crafty. Pay, I tell you.
I would say the Silhouette. I like things that give you more options, more ways that you can do things and not restrict you.
So Mr. Crafty says that the Silhouette gives you more options. Oh my gosh. I totally remember the Glass Slipper. Now that I'm seeing, I don't know, that's crazy how something can get buried in your memory and then you hear it and you're like, all I could remember is that she had short hair. And now that I'm seeing it, I remember this actress because didn't she have kind of, am I remembering this part now? Didn't she have a kind of interesting way of talking? She had an interesting little voice. Was that a Disney movie? Is there a video I can look at that says this? IMDb? I'll have to look that up. Now I'm intrigued. What is this? Oh, okay. Thank you, Beverly. She says, so the fairy godmother in that movie loves certain words. One of her favorites is windowsill. So Maddie, I think that it might have been local here in the Midwest. Cindy just said, and pickle relish. So are you adding on to Maddie's question, which was the giggle snort, the giggle snort hotel? Or are you responding to the glass slipper? Sometimes the comments coming in, I'm not quite sure who was talking about what. Oh, Kathy McBride remembers Hot Fudge. Right on. Cindy says, one of my all-time favorite movies. Emmy says, I've been fussy cutting literally all day for both lives. Your poor little hands. You're going to have to give yourself a nice little massage. Thank you. I do remember. So Leslie Caron, I hope that I'm saying her name correctly. She played Gigi, and she was French. Okay, so that's why I'm remembering very vaguely that she had some interesting way of talking, as I put it. So clearly that was an accent, but I do vaguely remember this. So I must have seen this with my mother, because my mom she was very, she watched a lot of movies as a little girl as a means of escape out of more of an unhappy household. And so she's very attached to movies. She really has like very fond memories of movies. She has a very extensive movie collection. And this is definitely a movie that she would have had me watch, for sure. But I do vaguely remember it now. That's funny. She does kind of have a little bit of an Audrey Hepburnish feel to her. Like when you see, especially this one picture of her in her little black leotard. Bye, Maria. She's French. Be safe, be well. Good night, everyone. Be well. Okay. So the Preppy Crafty Girl says, I have both the Cricut. I have both. The Cricut is more intuitive. However, if you know how to do Photoshop, you would be able to do the silhouette. Maureen asks, will the new Cricut work for printing Reset Girl stickers? I can't imagine a world in which they would make a new machine that couldn't do Kiss Cut stickers.
It may be a very small format. I don't know if it supports 8.5 by 11 paper.
Mark says he doesn't know if it supports 8.5 by 11 paper. So that might be the hang up. Maddie says she looks like she could have been a honey. Yeah, right? Yes, I totally, like, now I see her face up close. Yeah. Who does she remind me of? She reminds me of somebody. There's some character or somebody that she's making me think. She was also a dancer. Ooh. And she's still around. Oh, okay. Bug and Me Creation says, no, the new Joy doesn't. Aw. Oh, see, I shouldn't have even opened my mouth. I take it all back. I should not make assumptions anymore. I just assumed it would. See, this is what happens when you assume. I just assumed it was going to be like a regular sticker. Oh, it's little. It's adorable. What are you supposed to do with it, though, if you can't cut stickers? What's the point, right? Isn't that the only reason why we have cut machines? To make stickers? Cut shapes up to 4 feet long or make repeated cuts up to 20 feet long without a cutting mat. Interesting. Okay, well, I apologize. I've learned my lesson. I will not answer questions that I don't know how to specifically answer. But I will say this. I don't know what you would do with it since it's not doing what I... Oh, I see. Okay. I'm going to ask Mr. Crafty to cut this whole part of the live out. Okay. So I just got through saying, I don't know what you would do with it. And then I clicked on more pictures. So apparently the Cricut Joy is designed to do like little small jobs, little small labeling jobs. Can you guys see that? See how it's, ooh, I can do it up close. See how they're using it to make like little stickers? And maybe that sticker is more of like, see how small it is? It's like, ooh, but it's so cute. Is that supposed to be, is this pen like the one doing the writing? Mark, can you see that?
Yeah, that's probably a pen attachment where it is writing something.
Oh my gosh, you know what that reminds me of? It reminds me of, do you guys remember this, my Gen X friends? How back in the day, like maybe the 80s or the late 70s, they had one of the was it Haws, one of the companies that made the Easter egg dyeing, like you would make Easter eggs. Well, they had this little crank, like a machine, and you'd stick the pens in it, and the egg would roll. It would turn around in the little spinner. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And the pens would write on it. That's what that reminds me of. There used to have a little Easter egg decorator. That's so funny. It's both low tech and high tech at the same time. That's very interesting. So the pen does the writing, so it's like make little mom notes so that you can stick them, or you can make like little cute little labels. So it's kind of like a fancy label maker is a good way of looking at it. So yes. So we've learned some lessons here, ladies. Don't answer questions you don't know the answers to. And we just learned what the Cricut Joy is. I've seen several people ask about it, and I was like, oh, something new has joined. And I guess when I think about when they make new machines, I always think machines get bigger and fancier, and I just assume that's what was happening with this new machine. So Sloan says it's to make banners. So it can make banners because it says you can do them up to 4 feet long. And then it can do all of these awesome little things like make small stickers on a very specific way. Yeah, so this would not work because this is obviously designed to create a design on this blank paper. And I assume that you'd have to use the software. Oh my gosh, the cutest little girl just rode her bike by when she's wearing a little, she went too fast to show you, but she had a little unicorn hat on. Cozy goes, Corey, you remember the greatest things. Well, thank you. I'm in the right community. I'm in the community of people that are like, yes, me too. I totally remember that. Bonnie says it looks like a cute little addition to the big Cricut. It does. It's like the Cricut had a baby. It's like the little Cricut hasn't grown up yet. It's a little baby. Oh, Lisa said that they're back. Maddie says, I had one every Easter until they stopped making it. Oh, I gotta look this up. Okay, we need to know. Lisa, are you talking about the egg making decorator? Because I can't even remember the cheap little pens that came with it. Oh, there she goes. She reminds me of my daughter when she was a little egg decorator with pen. I remember over the years there was many variations of the egg decorating kits. And do you guys remember when they had Dudley? The Dudley egg kit, and it was like this big fat bunny. He was he shaped like a egg? And they had each year they'd have different types of Dudley kits. So one year it was a Dudley kit. It's Dudley. There he is. Look, you guys, you can go on eBay and buy a Dudley egg decorator. Do you guys want to like relive your childhood with me? And now here's one called Original Egg Mazing Easter Egg Decorator. You guys, look at this one. It's a cute little bunny. Bunny egg spinner and 8 colorful quick drawing markers. Well, I'm so glad that dim memory I had actually resulted in truth and not just that I made it up. That's awesome. He's adorable. He's cuter than, I hate to say it, but the Dudley of our youth, he looked a little drunk. Like he had too much to drink. So we have 1970s Deco-Rager. That's some marketing right there. Deco-Rager. Egg decorating machine with original box and pens. It can all be yours for $24.95 with shipping. That's it. Oh my gosh, you guys, that's it. I remember these cheap little markers because I remember holding on to them, keeping them in my collection because I didn't, my collection, because I didn't want to let them go because they had use after that. Okay, so I'm not imagining that Dudley was part of this whole scheme to part with, like, market these egg decorator things. However,
Holy squirrel.
what? I know, I have no idea.
RX just typed that.
Okay, so Dudley, egg, how it's spelled right, decorating kits. So the one decorating kit that I very clearly remember, you had to put little plastic gloves on. Wait, hang on. I think I'm combining two different ideas. Okay, hang on a second. So it was a little plastic bag, and each bag was different. And I think that they were little white bags, and they had a design on them. And when you put your egg in it, one year it was glitter, so you dumped glitter in your bag. And I don't remember how you made the egg sticky. And then sometimes the egg, you put it in the bag, and it had a squeezy tube of coloring. And then you'd smush the egg, like mush it around in the bag. So one year there was a glitter version. And see, these are all new. Okay, so I'm going to have to go back and see if I can find, because apparently Dudley is still going strong. I did not realize, because I have not needed to deal with any egg decorating kits in a very long time. Okay, so retro. Oh, there's one with stencils that you color the eggs through the stencil. Wow. See, I am right. There's the old Dudley, and he does look like an egg. I'm not imagining that. And now there's new Dudley. I don't like new Dudley. He doesn't look trustworthy. Egg decorating kit assortment. Do you guys ever do this? Do you guys ever go back and try to remember toys you played with and stuff? Oh, there's the markers. Look, they stacked into each other. Aha! That's from the little egg machine. Those would have made really plain eggs. They would have been primary. That's not very fun. I remember the year they had like the rub-ons that you'd put on your egg, like you'd rub them on your egg. And I think a lot of this stuff didn't work super well, but when you're a kid, you don't really realize that. You think everything you make is amazing. Oh my gosh, Mom, look! I think there's really a lot of super cute egg decorating ideas nowadays. Look at this adorable little paws Easter egg kit. Oh, where'd it go? That is so cute. Look at that, you guys. Look how adorable this packaging is. That is one cute little illustration there. That is one cute bunny. See, to me, this is adorable. Ugh. Why don't they save all the cute vintagey style stuff? Why does it always have to go to these computer generated rabbits? Okay, I'm not seeing the one I'm thinking of. It's really not that important though. But now I think I'm getting sucked in. I'm getting sucked in, you guys. Oh, just in time. Here's what I'm thinking of. It's called Swirl an Egg. It's a vintage, let me find it again. A vintage, there's Shake an Egg. I'm not imagining, this is for reals. Okay, let me find the Swirl an Egg, because that was the first one I saw. There it is, right here. This is it, you guys. Look, there they are. Oh my gosh, it's Dudley's Swirl an Egg. As seen on TV, colors dozens of eggs. There they are. These are the little pouches. And you put the egg in your bag and you squeeze it in there. And then you like mushed the bag around it. So it was supposed to have like some design. You guys, look how cute. I just feel like I just revisited my childhood right there. I'm like I'm almost 50 years old and I'm like, oh my gosh, you guys look. Egg decorating materials. Well, if you are the kind of person that gets excited about stuff like this, and I've just hopefully made you feel a whole lot less awkward about yourself. Okay, here's the one also that I had too. So you guys remember I said the little there was like mitts or gloves. This is what I was thinking of right here. These are the little mitts. There's a Dudley and there's a Clara. They're calling them puppets, but I don't think I used them as puppets. They were made of plastic, and I think I used them to handle my eggs. Here's all the little finger, like they hold your little eggs after you make them. Oh, there's the shaker bags right there. And there's the color. We had this one year. The new fun way to color eggs. $2.27. So let's see, it's probably $30. Oh, it's 10. Should I get this?
No.
Mr. Crappy's like, no. Might I point out that this vintage Dudley swirling egg, which I know for a fact I had this one too, is $85. It can be yours for $85. You're putting a price on our childhood. Okay, that was a fun little diversion. The egg decorator, the little... That's how this all started. It was because of the Cricket Joy. The pen reminding me of the egg. How did we get here? Lisa, I totally remember them. Do you remember creepy crawlers? I used to love the way they smelled. Do you guys remember creepy crawlers? I think it was that machine, and you would squeeze different, like, these gels into the little molds, and then they would bake in the little mold like it was a machine. I'm pretty sure that's what it had, some kind of cover over it. And then they would bake, and then they would be all like little rubbery jelly type little creepy crawlers. Is that what they are? I feel like that's what it is. And I'm trying to remember. They had creepy crawlers, and didn't they have they made a girly one that was like little bugs, like cute little butterflies. Usually, I feel like the toy companies would make a boy version of something and then a girl version. And the reason I say this is because my mom would buy me the girl and my brother the boy. So like Fashion Plates, then there was a Monster Maker Action Hero one. So I got Fashion Plates and he got that one. And his, you could have like a superhero on one side, and if you flipped over, it would be a monster. So you could like mix and match them. So that's an example of how I had one and he had another. And I'm trying to remember what other little toys that used to do that. So there was I also had a little a little greeting card. It was the same. Do you guys remember that? It was called greeting card maker. It was pink and brown. I don't know why we're playing this game. Because, I guess because I'm leading the charge. Retro greeting card maker. Let me just see here. And it was something... Aha! Here it is! Do you guys remember this? Did anybody have this? Ah! Dang it. It was a Pinterest pin. So now I gotta go find it. Look at all the cute little cards. Here it is. Do you guys remember this? It says Great Greetings on it. It was made by Tomy. So you could use it to make little greeting cards. So I had that, and then as an example, they made a boy version that did, I don't know, something different. Okay, so all of that came from Lisa. So she was the squirrel this time. Okay. Okay, yay! Carol says, I remember those shaker bags. It's true. So these are the fun things that, you want to make sure you're on our newsletter list because you don't want to miss out on me sending you links to silly things. I wouldn't send you a link to this. This is silly. This was just part of our conversation today. But I do have some fun things I did want to share with you. And I also have a Pinterest board that is full of like retro toys and stuff that I found from like the 70s and 80s, stuff that I played with. Here's a great Fashion Plates. So I'm going to save it to my little place. And I think it could be on a hidden board, but it's on a hidden board. So I will, once I get like more, there's some stuff on there. But look how fun this is, you guys. You can totally like go back in time and look at all the fun stuff you used to play with. Isn't that fun? What a fun little, oh look, Tartan Tinies. You guys remember Tartan Tinies? I'm fairly certain, like, at least where I lived in San Diego, that Tartan Tinies were like the first Willy Wonka candy that came out. Am I remembering that right? Pretty sure. This says 1979. I think that's right. But oh my gosh, they were the best thing because they had that little top of the box would slide open with your thumb, and it would open enough that you could shake them out. That was like changed the game. When Willy Wonka came on the scene, it like changed the game for all candy loving kids. because they like just made the most fun candy. So now I'm looking at all the cool things here. I totally remember these. Do you guys remember these? Rachel Perry Lip Lover Balm. Do you guys remember? I did have some of these. They had like a little pot of the lip balm in them. So, ooh. I remember that bottle. I'm forgetting what her name was, but I remember her. See how fun it is to just play memories. Like the corners of my mind. Misty colored memories of the toys we played with. Scratch and sniff stickers. I have no doubt that some of you actually still have your scratch and sniff stickers. Your scratch and sniff stickers. Did I just say scratch and sniff Snickers? I could have sworn I did. Snickers. I could literally just sit here for like an hour looking through all of this. It's just so fun. It's so awesome that all of that retro stuff has made it onto a modern day platform where we can all enjoy it and go, yay, I remember playing with all these things. And clearly this means that other people do too. Other people remember these things. They take pictures, they upload them because it's like, this was part of our story and what we had, and we can show pictures of this to our kids or grandkids and be like, look what I had. Ooh, lip balms. Bonnie Bell. I do remember. Is there a 7-Up one? The only one I remember owning was the Dr. Pepper, which still today is one of their best, I think it's their best-selling lip balm, and still has amazing color payoff. It's still a great thing to have, although I don't know if it makes the good lip balm list anymore. But for Bonnie Bell, I'm willing to like look past all that. Oh, Esprit. I totally remember that brand. Okay. So I actually do have work to do. I have adulting to do. I need to get some content start building for our health membership, you guys. This is finally happening. We're going to be having a TRG membership. What we're probably going to do, just a heads up, because technically on April 1st, April is technically the last month of the season. So I don't know how much we can get ready and get launched in this last month that we have before it's a brand new season. And so we're going to have to figure that out. How will this look? Or will we just not use this, like not offer a membership in a seasonal format, but more like, hey, for April, May, and June, for May, June, and July, will we just create our own little, like from this month to this month is going to be this season, and we just base it on whatever we choose? These are the questions we have to ask ourselves. But we are very excited about it. You're going to keep hearing me talk about it because it's really going to be the focus for what we do as TRG, what we offer. And the biggest point of it is it creates a bigger, broader way for you to be part of the community. So the focus of it is really to create accountability, to be mindful of your health. So health and wellness. And that looks like whatever that looks like for you. Some people have weight loss goals. Some people just want to get healthier. Some people want to create a routine where health is incorporated into their life. A lot of us have neglected our health for a very long time and have not been making good choices. And so it takes work to turn the ship around and to get yourself back on track. That takes work, time. It takes a lot of new habits to create a new routine. And that's what I am offering, is to be that platform where we can do that together. That you will have the opportunity to have small little groups that you can have an intimate, closer connection to, and be able to really help each other and encourage each other to meet your goals. And then, I come in with the big, broader content and what I'm doing and videos that I'm doing, so that you are getting inspiration, support. And if I can tap into the community to share things, I will certainly do that. So we're just working on that. That's going to be what we offer. And something that, as we're all aware of, that financial situations are changing very rapidly, and we are very cognizant of that. But we have to offer something, because we have to pay our bills, and we have to keep the lights on and be able to eat. So I just feel like of all the things that we've done, this to me makes the most sense. It's what I'm most passionate about. And in the past, we've learned that what I'm most passionate about is really what helps drive things in an organic way, a way that I can get behind and just keep, really helping, and really just helping you guys have a great community. Because I want that for you guys. I want you to have something special, different, that's not out there on the internets, that we just put a lot of effort into making it a really cool, special place where you don't feel like you're in a group full of people who are bodybuilders and fitness gurus, because that's not what I am. I want you to be in a group of people that you feel comfortable with, and that you're going to be able to use your creativity, your faith, and be able to just share the really great camaraderie that you guys have, that we're just going to, work on our self-care. And I think all of you at one point have dipped your toe into that, because I launched that with Camp Reset, and with the Harmony Retreat. We've tackled all of this already. We've discussed it already. So now it's just becoming a bigger, cooler, awesome platform that we're going to launch and allow you to be part of. So I am so grateful that so many of you guys showed up. Thank you so much. We do have the new collection by Miss Kelly Bangs in the store that has been discounted greatly, like over 60% discount, with the other pieces as well. If you want to grab the Faith Kit just to do some fresh decorating, you can just grab that alone, or you can do a bundle, or you can do the printables alone. So that is it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed this fun, wacky little fun trip we just took. We've been all over the place. We have been all over the place in our topics and our fun, and that's what I love about you guys. It's so fun to just just talk to you guys. I realize now that it's just, I told Mark right before this started, I said, I literally don't have anything to talk about, Mark. What am I going to do? And he's like, you don't even have to worry about, Corey. It'll just happen. And it does. It just happens, because you guys are the best. That's why, because we love talking to each other. And I'm so glad that some of you are able to utilize this time to do things for your creativity, your self-care. That's what this is about. Please sign up for the Reset Girls email, our newsletter. Go to theresetgirl.com and go find the TRG Insider newsletter. You want to sign up for that if you are not already on our list, because that is where I'll be sending out some fun stuff and the epic list I made, so that you have ideas of things you can do during this time and during our lives. Okay? I love you so much. Tomorrow, don't forget, I updated the calendar. So tomorrow's Faithful Friends show is right back here, same bat channel, different bat time. So it's 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We're going to get our prayer on. We're going to pray for our friends. We're going to pray for our country. And then we're going to talk crafts. We're going to talk creativity with our faith. So maybe we'll do some crafting together. You never know. You just really don't know. I don't know. I don't even know. But we'll find out. All of us together. Thank you guys so much for showing up. Thanks for spending so much time with us. This has been really fun. This show went actually longer than I thought, because we were just having so much fun. So you guys take very good care of yourselves. Take good care of yourself. Make sure we're washing hands. We're making good decisions about how much we're going out. Be mindful about just having necessities in your house. If you're in an area where you still have the groceries, everything's fine where you are, now's a good time to just do a little gentle stock up. Nothing crazy, but just be prepared, because it may not have really impacted you yet, but it will. And you should just plan on it impacting you at some point, just in case. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I love you so much. Have a wonderful evening. Enjoy your Saturday night. And we'll do it again tomorrow. Same place. Okay? I love you guys so much. Bye, everybody. Goodbye. 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 Mwah.